Gamers, what on earth has happened here? IGN's review of Brothership is a joke by Opera Zeb. Based on like to dislike ratio. Holy shit. Jesse, what the fuck happened here? I don't know how you go up against IGN and lose. It seems to be like a winnable matchup. We'll watch and see where it takes us. Let's begin.
Mario & Luigi Brothership is the long-awaited return of the Mario & Luigi series. With its original developer filing for bankruptcy in 2019, and the last two installments being remakes, it's been nearly a decade since we've gotten a new game in the series. Some might say, as a Mario sub-series, it was inevitable it would return, but the
Oh no, guys, you know the video. I know why it's got loads of dislikes. He's one of those people who pronounce it Mario. Oh, it's gonna be bad.
series producer, Akira Otani, admitted himself that they came close to retiring the Mario & Luigi series altogether. Suffice to say, fans of the series were unbelievably excited about this game's existence. I myself could not even believe it was happening. It took a while before it even felt real.
True.
As the game neared its release, major publications started putting out their reviews. It had fairly average reception. It averaged 77 on Metacritic, not the highest rated game in the series, but a score that indicates the game is still quite good, but definitely could use improvement.
Yep.
What stuck out to me—
And I would say that's probably my review of Brothership, which is, it's good, it's just shave off a bit off the beginning and end and a little bit in the middle and you have a perfect game. But yeah, a good first attempt, and I'm excited to see what this team could do if they do another Mario & Luigi game.
many others was the IGN review.
Now, that's actually a good segue. When I read the IGN, I think we read it on stream, and I think a lot of it just came down to the fact that, like, he just seemed a bit like no joy, no whimsy coded. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything that he hated, I loved. Like, I think he talked about the humor. In fact, we could probably bring it up real quick. I'll probably quickly just skim it. I don't think at any point in the review he was like flat out just wrong. A good chunk of it was just something that he liked, I just wasn't that big on. He didn't like the humor, I love the humor. He didn't like the weird characters, I love the weird characters. The story is a bit bloated, so I have to, that's just true, really. Oh, the Luigi thing? Personally, I'm a big fan of how Luigi controls in Brothership. A lot of people did not take to that. I kind of like that he was just kind of like did his own thing and like kind of like ordered him to do things if he wanted him to. Big fan of that, personally. To do the verdict real quick, Mario & Luigi Brothership is an incredibly disappointing return to the RPG series I've always loved. Apart from the combat, it fundamentally misunderstands its own past successes and completely fumbles Luigi's role in the puzzle solving and exploration by making him more of a pain in a partner. Again, I completely disagree. I could not disagree more, but I don't think he's wrong for this. Does that make sense? You're totally right to feel that way. Luigi does control weird. I like him, though. I think the story is simple, yeah, and I quite liked it. It's like the power of friendship. It's the connections you make. It's simple, but I enjoyed it. I guess he didn't, which is fair, I suppose. It's not a total disaster, as the excellent flashy turn-based battles are some of the best in the series. That is true. But even though somehow managed to wear thin as the repetitive fun act crawls to near its finish line of the 38-hour campaign, which suffers from a surprisingly bad performance issues the entire time. I feel like I feel like I have like a top 10 Switch ever made, because SV on Switch 1 ran, I would say, comparatively to the amount of glitches I saw, relatively well. And Brothership, I didn't really experience any frame drops. The most annoying bit about Brothership was how long it took to get in and out of battle. That was easily like unforgivable. I fucking hated it. Like it'd be like, go time, ba 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 ba, and I'm just like sitting there for like an extra like 6, 7, 8 seconds, and it doesn't seem like a lot of time, but like it adds up over the course of a story. And it was to the point where it was really annoying to get into battles towards the end, so I kind of avoided them, which was fair because I wasn't really underleveled. The Switch has been home to many triumphant revivals from Nintendo. Mario & Luigi series has missed the boat. I think it's just a case where, like, this is harsh. Very, very harsh. My overall point was very harsh, and I'm really sorry he didn't enjoy it. To make a 50-minute video about this, just to clarify, chat, relatively recently, he uploaded this 2 days ago. You wanted to make a 50-minute video about this review? 10 months later? Interesting. So that's my assessment of the review. I could not, it's like, why isn't it? It's like, why?
They gave the game a score of 5 out of 10, which is the lowest they've rated any game in the series. Naturally, I was curious as to why it was rated so low compared to the others in the series, but I decided not to read their review until after I played the game. I wanted to avoid spoilers and preconceived expectations of what the game would be. I wanted to see it from my own perspective. I'm glad I knew about the review score though, because that allowed me to go into the game with a more critical mindset. I didn't want to blindly love this game and just see past its flaws. I wanted to thoroughly assess it and see what I felt worked, what didn't work, and what I would have changed. I played through the game nearly 100%ing it, and throughout the making of this video have been doing a second playthrough for footage, fact-checking, checking out the problems the reviewer mentioned now that I've actually read the review.
And you didn't, and instead of opting to make a video review yourself, you opted to dunk on the IGN review? Sure. interesting tactic, but let's see if it works out.
And also just because I really like playing the game. Not to mention that there's multiple points in the game where different actions change the story in subtle ways, and I was curious to see the other outcomes I didn't experience in my first playthrough. I can now confidently say that IGN's review of the game is very flawed, filled with things said in bad faith, misinformation, double standards, and completely misunderstanding the way the game works.
Okay.
And I hope to illustrate all the problems with the review in this video.
I'm interested to see if you can.
I'd also like to say before we get into this that I myself do have problems with the game. It's in no way perfect, and I don't intend to treat it as such. To start, let's listen to a segment from the review.
Speaking of kids, several choices in Brothership make it feel like baby's first RPG.
Is that Cyber? It is. Oh, so you got Cybershell involved in this? Oh no. Oh no, this is a sad day. Oh no. He got Cybershell involved in his, according to the likes and dislikes, bad review. Oh no.
It probably will be for plenty of kids out there, so that isn't inherently a bad thing, but this is the rare game starring Mario that feels designed specifically for ages 6 to 12, rather than ages 6 to 66. The tutorials and dialogue are constantly holding your hand. For example, almost any time you enter a new area...
Oh, and yeah, it's funny to mention, like, literally, there's a video review as well, by the way, so you could have just played the guy's video, but sure, we got Cybershell involved.
Yeah, the camera...
Like normally when you do like a voice cameo from like a... Yeah, he wasted an assist. Normally when you do a voice cameo, it's like a bit that needs to be read, but you just don't want to read it yourself. You want to like add a different voice. But like there's literally a video, but another strange editorial choice, Mr. Oprazep.
Slowly pans over to your objective and slowly pans back.
And if you're asking me, I would say... I don't remember how many of these of this kind of thing they did, but yeah, it's just kind of annoying, you know?
Followed by an excruciatingly long explanation from new assistant named Snoutlet, who basically spells out exactly what you need to do. The dialogue repeatedly reminds you of the overarching story and objective, and Brothership spends far too much time of its already bloated 34-hour runtime rehashing the same tired notes. I lost count of how many times new characters were shocked to learn Mario and Luigi were on a mission to reconnect all of Concordia's islands. Plus, the large font size means only roughly a dozen words tops can fit into a single dialogue bubble, so you're always mashing the A button to get to the next line in these insufferably long scenes.
Saying the tutorial...
I lost count, so I'm trying to keep track with the extra review so I can like reread the words myself. I lost track of how many times new characters were introduced and reconnected. Plus, the large font size means only roughly a dozen words can talk and fit in a single dialogue bubble, so he's mashing A. Again, for me, I think it was a case where like if the story didn't connect with you, of course you're going to find the dialogue annoying. And I feel like they offered a fast forward button just in case this wasn't for you. So yeah, like a game like an RPG kind of lives and dies based off like, if you like the story, it doesn't feel like mashing A. If you hate the story, it feels like mashing A. So I think this is just a case where you didn't like the story, so it felt like mashing A, which I would say is a bit unfair, but like fair. I suppose if you didn't like the story, then fair enough. That'd be my assessment of this. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know what he could possibly say about this statement, because even then I'm just like, they added a fast forward button, which is, I mean, ideally should have helped you. If you connect, thank you. If you didn't connect with the characters the same way I did, fair, but I suppose, I don't know, man. See, again, it's one of the, you see, my reaction was just like, So what could you possibly say to this?
Tutorials constantly hold your hand. There is a lot wrong with that already. This game actually might have the best tutorials in the series. And while I could get into specifics and
is the video supposed to be blurry like this? Why is it blurry?
Explain it. I think it's more impactful to show you that I've been playing the basic battle tutorials from Partners in Time in the background since this video started. Not only has it not finished, but Partners in Time is unique for the series because 3 minutes after the first tutorial, you get to learn the same thing again, this time teaching you to press A instead of pressing X. Also teaching the player to counterattack. That wasn't in the first tutorial. Now here's all of those same tutorials one after another, but at 32 times speed. Now here's the tutorials from Brothership that go over these same mechanics. You just read what to do, you try it out yourself, and the game respects your intelligence. I think it goes without saying which of these two examples holds the player's hand. Combat tutorials aside, the reviewer also says that it's hand-holding to show the player what the objective is. I find this part interesting because as I was doing research into this reviewer, I found this footage of him saying Dragon Quest XI is the best JRPG of all time.
Dragon Quest XI.
I haven't finished that.
Yeah.
Best JRPG of all.
So you dug through it. Strange move. So instead of curious, I'm very curious to see where this leads. Hang on, chat. Hang on. Let's see where this goes.
Of all time.
And that game always shows you exactly where to go on the map. So you might wonder why it's okay when that game does it. Well, the challenge isn't to find out what the objective is, it's to do that objective. The challenge comes from everything in between, like Mario and Luigi Brothership. Super Mario Odyssey does this exact same thing, and it's the reviewer's favorite Mario game of all time. Additionally, why wouldn't the characters talk about the overarching story and objective when it's what they're currently engaged in?
Maybe he just thought that the game did it a bit too much. Instead of digging through this guy's fucking history, maybe you could have, you literally said you played through the game and replayed it again. Could you maybe have done a quick collage of how many times they repeated the overarching story to like prove him wrong? The issue isn't that he dug through his reviews. The issue is that like that doesn't necessarily prove your point. Maybe he liked it in Dragon Quest because he liked the story, but he didn't like it here because he didn't like the story. Again, it feels like a mash A fest when you hate the story, but doesn't when you like the story, right? So what you could have done is you could have used the background footage to show how often do they constantly mention, we have to connect the islands, we have to connect the islands. Because yeah, if you don't like the story, it can get really fucking annoying. Do you know what I mean? I could see that being a valid thing for him to say if it did actually happen a lot. I don't know. And frankly, you haven't showed me. So, like, I guess I'm inclined to agree, given the benefit of the doubt. So, a bit of a miss here, but let's see if we can save it.
And again, this is something seen in every game in the series, and in Dragon Quest XI.
Surely he speaks.
Hang on, are we gonna get like a compilation? Hang on, so you spend the time to do I'm guessing this is gonna be a Dragon Quest compilation, right? Hang on.
Rainbow. I will discuss the rainbow with my father. I will go immediately to my father.
So is it... Instead of like going in Brothership and finding a lot of instances where they do this, you instead found a game he liked just to hate on him harder? Yeah, okay, yeah, wrap it up, Lil. Again, you taking umbrage with this paragraph isn't an issue. Your angle of critique is the issue. What is happening here?
And ask about the rainbow. I will speak to my father about the rainbow. I will speak with my father about the rainbow. And
again, this your thing. Now, this is the part where you go, oh, but Moresty, like, surely this compilation doesn't help me because I don't know how much time it's been in between the mentioning of the rainbow. I have no idea how long it's been. Are these like that close together? Are they far apart? I don't know. So even this is like one chapter, but other than you telling me, how is the viewer supposed to know? Does that make sense? Like, now that you've told me, I know, but he's not communicated this all in one chapter. So unless I was streaming it, I literally wouldn't have known.
The rainbow. In search of the rainbow. The rainbow. That the rainbow was no longer in the kingdom.
Most games in general, really. I fail to see how this is even criticism. Honestly.
Well, it is. If the story keeps like bloviating about its themes, I could see how somebody would find that annoying if they didn't like it. I think that's fair. Yeah. Wrap it up, little bro. Wrap it up. I think that's a fair Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
This whole thing is ridiculous. In this,
this video is ridiculous.
segment, he pretty much admits to rushing through everything because he's just mashing through all the dialogue instead of actually caring to read it. Aside from that completely disqualifying the reviewer from being able to give an honest review of the story and writing.
No, I think that I think it disqualifies him for making any like refined points on the story as a whole. But like, I think saying the story was so boring you skipped through it is a fair critique. Like, I'm trying to think of a game where I did that. I don't know, but like, I'd say that's a fair critique. If I heard a reviewer say that, I want to be like, oh, that disqualifies you. Be like, damn, the story must have been really shit then, you know? If you couldn't even sit through it, that's a fair angle of critique. I think you're mad because sad. what are we doing here? And also, like, especially when you have to get the review out on time. Yeah, like, you're hardly going to spend more time when, like, you're timed on this as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, so an IGN reviewer, yeah, ideally it behooves him to like, give the best review possible. But if if he knows he doesn't like the story, I think it's fair for him, it's fair to anyone, but IGN viewer even more so, to just mash through it. If he's already discovered he hasn't liked it. If you told me he mashed through the story like frame 1, I'd be like, okay, that's stupid. But like, if you've played like 60% of a story and been like, okay, yeah, wrap it up, little bro. Yeah, I think that's fair. You got through 60% of it, realize it's not for you. The final act is hardly going to save if you didn't like the initial 2 acts. Yeah. And it depends on the game. A Mario game, I wouldn't say skipping through matters. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, it does depend on the game. Yeah, fair. But like in Brothership, I would say like, I still think you can make a decently comprehensive IGN level review if you skip the I don't know.
And still have played games where I felt the text was hard to read because it's too small. I've had lots of friends complain about games having text that's too small, but I've never once heard someone complain that I have to press the button too often to skip text. If you're playing a game of this genre and don't care about the story, you're gonna have to repeatedly press a button in order to skip text. If you're skipping text...
Yeah, and I think that's a fair criticism, right? He can, like, if I don't, like, why isn't it an option to just straight up skip dialogue interactions instead of fast forwarding? I think that's fair.
You're gonna have to mash some buttons. It comes with the territory. It also applies to...
No, it doesn't. Most games have a skip cutscene button. And maybe Brothership could have had that for the people that enjoy the story.
Every other game in the series. You wouldn't think pressing buttons a lot would be an arduous task for a professional video game reviewer?
Yeah, wrap it up, little bro. This guy is like a whole bucket of salt. He gets to talk about video games for a living, broski. Yeah, wrap it up, man. Wrap it up. You're just jealous. This is just jealousy, the video. Holy shit.
Here we are. And sure, not every player will want to read the text in an RPG, but to say it's a bad thing for the text to be big and legible because it makes you have to press the button to advance text more often, it really comes off as a nitpick. Like,
no, I think that's a fair thing for someone to... Yeah, okay.
Oh no, the text is too...
We're still on this point, oh! Broski, this is unbelievable. You made the point a whole minute ago. Literally, I know I say wrap it up as a joke, but like, literally wrap it up. What's happening here? You've been bloviating for a whole ass minute. We get it. You don't like, where's the sentence? You don't like, what's the sentence? You don't like this sentence of his review. This is what he's talking about, like, this one sentence. Jesus Christ, man.
Legible. It's so easy to read. How could they?
I would be more forgiving of the overwhelming amount of text if the humor and story were on point, but unfortunately...
Again, very humor is subjective. I liked it, he didn't. Fine.
The writing just doesn't land.
Sure,
the Mario RPGs all attempt to strike a humorous and whimsical tone to varying degrees of success.
Yeah, and I thought this one did it.
Brothership's comedy mostly lies in repetitive bits and intentionally unfunny puns and dad jokes where the punchline is watching Mario and Luigi stare blankly in an awkward silence.
I quite liked it because it juxtaposed with Mario's like sensibilities between these weird concordians, you know?
Snugglet's primary joke is telling everyone he meets that he's definitely not a pig, while the main villain's bit is not remembering anyone's name, which is another unfunny joke that's beaten into the...
Oh, I like it. I like that bit. That bit was funny. You were like, Mario and Linguini? I don't know, like maybe I'm just easy to please. And then the extension call, one of them gets talked over all the time. I thought it was funny. Again, it's subjective. I thought it was funny though, but IGN guy didn't. There's nothing wrong with it. Maria and Luisa, literally. Yeah, I thought it was funny.
The ground well before Brothership stops returning to it. Again, this game lasts for dozens of hours, and those jokes never evolve or get any better.
I'll give you this. The awkward silence bit...
Okay, like, he's literally... Okay, I just want to say, how could you possibly refute this? Literally, this whole paragraph is, I didn't like the humor. All you have to say is either I agree or I disagree. Humor is extremely subjective. Like, I would say, I think someone said the humor wasn't as on point as this with the other games. I would say I agree with that. I think the humor writing wasn't as on point, but I still find it decently compelling enough. But that's just literally what it is. It's just, he didn't find the humor funny. I'd be like, oh, I did. That's kind of it. What could you possibly say?
I thought sometimes it was entertaining.
Rissy, where did you fucking find this guy, bro? Where did you find this numpty? Fuck, you know?
Other times it didn't hit me. I personally didn't care about that, as they don't linger on them and the dialogue's very quick. In fact, the game lets you fast forward pretty much every single scene where you're not in control of Mario and Luigi. For how much the review complains about dialogue and cutscenes, I feel it's misleading to not also bring up that you can fast forward nearly all dialogue and skip most cutscenes. Withholding that information paints the picture that the game doesn't allow the player to do that, when it's actually a possible solution to the problem the reviewer describes.
Well, I suppose he probably could have mentioned that. Yeah, you're right.
I also personally liked the joke of Zocket getting characters' names wrong.
Yeah, same.
And it
Marigold
didn't feel
and
like the joke
Linguini.
was repetitive because he kept saying different
Snorio
names.
and Too Easy.
It's important to point out that the joke isn't there just to be funny. It illustrates how Zocket's entire character is that he can't be bothered to connect with anyone. He can't even bring himself to care about who it is he's fighting and who it is he's working with.
Brothership makes an admirable...
Yeah, okay, but again, he didn't. Like, if I was gonna like nitpick this review 10 months later, I'm just ignoring this paragraph. It's just humor is subjective. Sure, he didn't like it. That's it, bro. Fuck my life. How did you make that sound boring?
Well,
Good
attempt
grief,
at telling
man.
a story about the importance of friendship and connections and the dangers of isolation. But it's another
And I liked
area
it.
where the idea is better than the execution. The writing is just so unoriginal, and I didn't get attached to any of Brothership's large cast in the same way I have with so many characters and partners from past Mario.
Who was that kid that was friends with Bowser Jr.? Like, Buddy was his name? I thought those two were really sweet. And then fucking Technicky and a Daphne. The fact that I even remember these characters, like, I'm bad with names. I'm so bad with names. Idol Group, like, I love these characters, man. Come on, you didn't like my IGN guy?
RPGs. Some of that may come down to character design. I love how Mario and
design?
Luigi look in this cartoony art style, and many of the enemies look great too. But the friendly, power outlet-shaped residents of Concordia just didn't resonate with me. Granted, it's nice to see original characters back in a
That's
Mario
what
and
I'm
Luigi game
saying.
after Paper Jam toadified everything. But
Real.
these designs are just a bit too rudimentary for my taste, and their blocky look clashes
man.
with the style of Mario, Luigi, and other characters and enemies from the Mushroom Kingdom that show up.
Again, I think this is one bit where I would say the IGN man is kind of, I would say half wrong and half subjective. Like, yeah, it's just a case of he didn't like it. But at the same time, I think the juxtaposition of these weird outlet people and the Mushroom Kingdom being like so diametrically like different from each other because they're literally had to go to a portal to find this place. I think the clash of like, or should I say the difference in the designs kind of resonated with me or worked for me, should I say? I guess it didn't for him. So I'm just like, nah.
I would also go as far as to say that it's a poor complaint to say that the Concordians' blocky looks are too much of a contrast between Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, I would say so.
This is a completely different world than
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi are
I
from.
agree.
Essentially another dimension.
I think that is a poor critique. I will give you that.
The last Mario game to really do something like this was Super Paper Mario, which similarly had tons of NPCs that completely clashed with Mario and friends. This is done intentionally to illustrate the differences between Mario's world and Concordia.
Yeah, I
This
agree.
isn't Mario's world, and it should feel alien in comparison to Mario's world. That said, I also really don't think they stick out that much. Aside from Toads, most NPCs in Mario games look pretty distinct from other Mario characters anyway. Like, do any of these look particularly out of place? They're all pretty weird and distinct from each other. That's kind of the beauty of the Mario series. Its worlds are so weird and varied that they can kind of do whatever they want with the character designs and it won't feel out of place.
Yeah, I agree.
They can
I agree with
look
this point.
different for sure, but not to the point where you feel like you're playing something that just feels like a hodgepodge of random assets. I also genuinely don't
Okay, now you've gotten a win. I just want to clarify, Mr. Opera. You got a win. That was a good point you made. Don't fuck this up now.
understand what the reviewer meant when he said the writing is unoriginal, but maybe I would if he elaborated on that or gave examples. Interestingly, I do think it's funny that the reviewer...
I think he probably just meant like the themes, like again, it's like the power of friendship, the power of connection. That's probably what he meant when he. That's what I assume he means when he says the writing's unoriginal.
grouped Mario and Luigi together with every other inhabitant of the Mushroom Kingdom, because main characters like Mario and Luigi do have unique designs compared to other modern Mario games, more resembling how they look in other Mario and Luigi games. But a complaint I specifically had was that when they introduce more characters from the Mushroom Kingdom, their designs are nearly identical to how they look in regular Mario games, instead of being given slight redesigns to fit into the more cartoony aesthetic. Like, compare Luigi's model here to his model in Super Mario Party Jamboree. And now do the same with Spike.
The whole adventure.
Yeah, they definitely could have done a better job Mario and Luigi-ifying some of the Mushroom Kingdom denizens. Yeah, hey, good point. He made one good point so far. Can he make it 2 in a row games? Let's find out.
Adventure would probably pop more if it didn't run so badly. This is easily one of the worst performing Nintendo.
This is okay, broski. You have to listen. I'm issuing an alert, broski. I'm issuing broski. You have to let the IGN man take this one. A lot of people had frame drops. The loading times were poor. How could you possibly refute this guy? What are we doing right now, broski? Come on.
Games on Switch. Worse
Come
than Link's
on.
Awakening, but not quite to the level of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, with incessant frame rate issues while
Scarlet Violet mentioned.
exploring the overworld. Brothership chugs and stutters basically anytime there's some sort of environmental element present, whether it's moving water, lava, sand, wind, or fog. That's a pretty major problem for a quest set entirely on the ocean. It's not only unpleasant to look at, it can cause issues during some platforming segments that require precisely timed jumps. Performance
see
is
that.
more reliable during the smaller amount of time when you're inside a dungeon or building.
Some people are predicting they're going to say they patched it. Okay, is he going to say they patched it? Or is it going to be, I never ran into frame drops, therefore? It's like, yeah, I didn't run into a lot of frame drops neither, but I saw a lot of videos where, yeah, the game was chugging. And the load times were dog.
And I noticed the frame rate wasn't quite as bad when playing in handheld mode, but if you were looking forward to the Mario and Luigi series finally making the jump to a home console, I'm sorry to report that I simply didn't enjoy playing Brothership on my television, and I don't recommend it.
I think I played it for the most part docked, and I didn't really bump into a lot of frame issues anyway. Loading issues, yes, but not frame issues.
Pretty much the only noticeable performance issues were late game on the main hub island. As throughout the game, the more people you meet, the more the island develops and the livelier it gets. So naturally, if the game has a lot more NPCs and objects out at once, it'll drop frames on occasion. I specifically didn't care about this at all because the
Fucking genius. Hang on. Let's. I paused too soon, maybe, gamers. Hang on.
hub is where that kind of thing matters the least. There's no precision platforming, no frame-perfect actions I have to take, no combat. It's just walking around and talking to people.
It can still be annoying, though. Like, you're right. Like, if a game was gonna lag, I think the hub area is probably the place you probably want it to, if it had to lag somewhere. But, like, I still don't want my fucking video game to lag, bro. You made this shit on a console that you developed it for. It should run like butter. What are we doing? What are we doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here, broski?
Obviously, this is more of an opinionated thing, but I've never understood people saying
Almost like a
things
horror
like
review.
frame drops break immersion. Like, do you really have such a low ability to suspend your disbelief that if the game doesn't look smooth for a few seconds, it ruins your experience?
Well, yeah, because you're focused how much on how shit the game runs instead of immersing yourself in this. What? Oh, come on! 10 months for this, yeah?
That feels like saying, this movie was bad because someone in the theater was clearing his throat too loudly.
Yes! Yes! If someone's movie-going experience was ruined because someone couldn't shut the fuck up, yes! That's fair for someone to say? What do you mean?
If performance issues are so bad to the point that you're constantly missing inputs and the game is skipping like a record, then yes, that should affect your score on it. But acting like Mario and Luigi Brothership's performance affects the gameplay in any meaningful way is simply wrong. I also feel like it's just disingenuous to say the worlds are generic, because they're deserts and forests and things like that.
I think they did a lot with the relatively generic themes, but I could see someone saying that. I don't know, I think like the themes being generic is a bit of an unfair critique, but I could see it at the same time.
General idea of a desert is generic, sure, but what matters is what you do with it.
Yeah, but like, it's one of those things where, like, if you've played Mario games, you've seen like a lot of the same themes get reused over and over and over again. So like, I could see someone just going, "Oh, it's another desert," and like being a bit annoyed, you know?
It was not at all what I was expecting. It reminded me of chapters in the older Paper Mario games. Instead of what you'd expect, this island is mostly focused on an abandoned town, where you have to play hide and seek with a bunch of kids in order to proceed. Those kids also stick around and are major supporting characters throughout the whole game. I expected them to be comic relief and not much more, but there were lots of times in the story where they help out.
The other group was good.
Wow, I don't know how Mario and Luigi would have gotten through this without them.
9/11.
Anyway, regardless of that, the game has a lot of unique areas like this, where while the kind of setting could be seen as overused, the way it's implemented is unique. Bulbfish Island is a great example of this. You have to investigate to find out who's been stealing the
Yeah, Bulbfish is one of the better ones.
fish eggs in order to help these star-crossed lovers clear their names. And this couple actually hints to later areas in the game, which also have a lot of unique ideas and scenarios. The review also neglects to mention the more unique islands, like the one with the skyscraper, where you have to infiltrate your way in and spy on the villains, and look for clues to find passwords to proceed. The one with all the bouncy flowers, the one that's a giant amusement park, the one that houses a huge dance club, the one full of sculptors that decorate the entire island, the one that's a town for all of Bowser's minions. There's genuine variety here.
I will say, yeah, there is a lot of variety. I would say the early game is definitely like grasslands, desert a bit. I feel like, yeah, I think that's a fair thing to. If he didn't mention, I'm trying to track the part of the review. But yeah, if he just wrote off as like, oh, it's your deserts and your grasslands, I would say that's definitely unfair. That's unfair for him to do.
The review says most of the game's side quests are just overbearing fetch quests. Even though I don't really think that's the truth on a gameplay level, I think it's important to talk about what these quests do narratively.
There's side quests doing something narratively, but like if they're repetitive, then I can understand someone not appreciating them from a. If a group of side quests are just like the same thing, relatively speaking, but the story, it makes perfect sense. I think it's valid for someone to just say, yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of. You're kind of just doing the same thing over and over again. Does it make sense? Because like you're playing a game more than the story. So I think the side quest should have more like priority. Like the gameplay should have more priority over like any sort of narrative. Does it make sense? I didn't like the side quests that much in this game. Yeah, see, I had the same feeling. Yeah, I got tired of them towards the end because like it all felt a bit samey. The only ones I really liked were the guy, like, you know, that I think there was this one guy doing the the Gloam versions of the battles. They're really fun. Yeah, most of them are fetch quests. They aren't that great. Yeah, I think that's a fair critique. I think the IGN guy saying they're just all fetch quests, if they are mostly just fetch quests, even if they do improve the narrative, I think is a fair critique. And I think you offering a limp-wristed defense, I think this is just one of those things where you probably just ignore, broski. I'll be real with you.
They all come down to the central idea that to be alive is to connect with people.
But if they're boring, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
Everyone has some desire to connect with people around them in different ways. I'll talk more about the story a little later. I want to save it for the end of the video since it'll contain spoilers, but I think the side quests genuinely enhance the game's overall theme and story. And I also did find them fun. I guess it's kind of a matter of, if you find the game fun, you're gonna enjoy experiencing more of it, and if you don't, you're gonna resent it.
Yeah.
Luigi.
But then again, I think people in the chat are saying the side quests were like very fetch questy, so I'm inclined to agree that I think the IGN, the IGN guy. I'm tired, guys. My brain is working at half capacity. The IGN guy is correct in that instance.
Takes the L.
The AVGN guy.
As a longtime fan of this series, though, I would have been able to tolerate a lot of technical roughness if it meant I was getting what I came for. Brothership isn't outright bad in a vacuum, but it's particularly disappointing because it fundamentally misunderstands the best elements of its own series, specifically in how it completely mishandles Luigi.
Yeah, I think there's a part where I just disagree. I love how Luigi controls.
In past Mario and Luigi adventures, Luigi follows right behind his older brother, and you platform and solve puzzles with the two of them as a unit. A to jump as Mario and B to jump as Luigi. When they split up, you seamlessly swap back and forth between the two. In Brothership's overworld, though, Luigi feels more like an NPC ally than a second protagonist. He follows Mario at a disconnected, awkward distance, he can jump on his own without the press of a button, and many puzzles revolve around simply ordering Luigi to automatically do something for you. This approach is no worse than follower characters in other RPGs, but it loses the unique style of previous games and feels so watered down as a result. The odd thing is that certain areas seem like they were designed for the old style and are now rendered completely pointless.
Really?
The worst instances are platforming segments where Mario needs to jump on the red platforms and Luigi follows suit on the green ones. Once you've moved Mario to where he needs to go, you just twiddle your thumbs as Luigi does his part automatically. There's no fun in watching half the puzzle get solved by a computer.
I agree.
Especially when this series was traditionally built on gameplay that made the most of having two equal characters at your disposal.
Twiddle
I would hang on, hold up.
your thumbs. My brother in Christ, it takes 2 seconds maximum for Luigi to do his part. I genuinely...
Okay, but like... Okay... Oh, good lord. I think you got stun locked on the final phrase and not the overall point he was trying to make. A puzzle where this platform challenge is technically halved by the fact that the game does half of it for you is annoying. I could see someone going, yeah, this is annoying. Like, this bit of, like, the Luigi controls is kind of mid, because you're doing a puzzle where there's only half the puzzle is correct, you know? That's a fair critique for him to add. I think that's fair. Yeah, it's only 2 seconds, but it's annoying. It's more about the interactivity. That's the point he was trying to go for. So, You just got stun locked, broski. You got stun locked. What's happening?
Think that the only one here who misunderstands the best elements of the series is the reviewer himself. I think Brothership...
Well, no, I would say yes. The best elements of the series were the ones where like you're controlling Mario and Luigi at the same time, generally speaking, and where I'm okay with Luigi kind of doing his own thing and me just like ordering him around. Yeah, like one of the cooler parts about the older games were doing like stuff as a team, you know. So if you didn't like that change, it's fair. It's a fair change. It's a fair thing to complain about.
Has Luigi controlled automatically, specifically because of how complex Luigi's involvement is in this game compared to the rest of the series. Despite what the reviewer says here, the only game in the series where Mario and Luigi regularly split up from each other was the first game in the series, and I don't think seamlessly switching between them matters at all, because in something like Superstar Saga, it just equates to you switching to Mario, walking where you need to go, then switching back to Luigi and walking where he needs to go. The only difference now is that you have these blocks that allow you to switch between them, which are conveniently placed in every area where you would want to switch between them. The other games in the series usually have Mario and Luigi stick together, and a third party separate from them can help solve a puzzle. Think of these areas in Partners in Time. You need to throw the babies into this tree stump so they can hit this block that moves this platform over a pit of spikes. Really, the only thing that's different now is that you don't have the hassle of positioning a character so they can perform an action when separated from Mario.
Yeah, but like even then, I would say this is more engaging than how they do it in Brothership. Does that make sense? I think Logan will probably tell me he prefers this over how they did in Brothership because this is more engaging. Yeah, it's not that much more different, but like the player, am doing everything involved on both screens, which is like more brain power, more engaging than like Luigi doing half and I'm doing the other half. So like, I don't know, man. This is just one kind of take the L on, but you decide to fight it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Bowser's Inside Story fixed this by making it so most puzzles like this are inside of Bowser's body. Whenever you're inside Bowser's body as Mario and Luigi for an extended period of time, Bowser himself doesn't need to be controlled, except in minor instances that change the environment for Mario and Luigi. For example, drinking water as Bowser will make water appear in this area, stopping will remove the water. This is a more streamlined version of that idea from Partners in Time, where one character's actions affect the other. But in Bowser's Inside Story, you didn't need to put Bowser there to find the water. The game just already has him at the water when you're at the point in the game that needs it. Mario and Luigi Dream Team similarly streamlines the puzzles that involve multiple different parties. When Mario is in the dream world, you can interact with the environment by touching different parts of Luigi on the bottom screen.
You literally just proven the guy's point. In every past game, you were the one doing it. Where, I suppose Brothership streamlines it, but it's like, do we streamline the whole game so we just beat it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how much do we need to streamline this? I much prefer a game where, even if it is a bit more complicated, I like the fact that I have to drag Luigi's mustache and like fling him over instead of me pressing a button, Luigi does it for me. You know, it's just more engaging for me to go on the touch screen or like to just move my thumb and just like fling it back. You know? It's just cool to do things
to interact with, but Luigi will always remain on the bottom screen if you need to utilize him.
Yeah.
When brothers,
but it's just more engaging than again just like getting Luigi to like do something off screen for you or like on his own. Also, Mingo sent me some Luigi clips. Luigi AI being a little cringe. So you ended a battle and he automatically just fell down. Oh no. Okay, that annoyed me, I'll be real with you. That never happened to me, though. Okay, but in all fairness, you're not supposed to do that. Okay, you're supposed to, like, I think you're supposed to get the roll power up. You're not supposed to be able to jump over this, okay? You're sequence breaking the game and Luigi didn't let you, okay? Luigi did a good thing today, all right? And of course, it didn't help that he respawned you in the fucking... Yeah, okay. You know, I could see it. I could definitely see it. I'm never going to deny that there were instances where Luigi decided to be like a bitch-ass little bitch. I'm never going to pretend. For me, most of my playthrough, I was fine. Does that make sense? That's what I'm saying.
Has Luigi walk to a switch that he needs to hit for Mario to progress. It's the exact same idea in a different form.
Yeah, there are instances in Brothership, as you guys can see, Luigi's behind me, where like, yeah, you control both bros at the same time like this. But yeah, just remember, there's an entire archetype of puzzle where Luigi will do something for you. That is something that wasn't present in games of past, so I can see him looking at, not this instance is fine, but the instance with like the jumping puzzle and him going, I don't like this. What's the point? You know? I was okay with it, but yeah, I can see someone going, yeah, there was too much automation, you know? Yeah, even Dress Rose literally comes in the chat and says exactly that, yeah. The automation was too much. So look, you're gonna argue with the person in my chat as well? You're gonna argue with them? You're gonna argue with them as well?
Now this is the fun part. This is the part where the reviewer, despite saying that the game is for little kids and the puzzles are too easy, gets really mad that the puzzles are not easy.
There are even segments where he will actively work.
Guys, how much should I bet this is taken in complete bad faith? I have a feeling is that it's in complete bad faith. How much should I bet?
Against you. Like when you need to step on numbered panels in order, but Luigi, bafflingly, doesn't wait to step on his number before you stepped on yours. This leads to completely contrived, unbelievable sequences where you need to beat out your own partner so he doesn't fail the puzzle for you both.
For this Luigi...
No, again, personally, I like the number panel Luigi puzzles, but I can see someone going, okay, this is a game where you're supposed to connect. It's about connections. It's about working together. In a series where a lot of the fun was both of you guys working together to do puzzles, and yet we have an archetype of puzzle where Luigi does some shit on his own, and I just have to hope that I can beat him. Yeah, I can see someone going, yeah, that's fucking annoying. I didn't mind it personally. I thought these puzzles were very fun. But I can see someone doing that. What is so different? I don't understand why you take umbrage with this. And yeah, we did predict the game as he did say this is in bad faith. I could see someone seeing this archetype puzzle and going, yeah, this is annoying. I don't fucking like this. I thought it was fun though. So there's another case where I agree to disagree. So why are you getting angry at this guy, bro?
Luigi logic counting puzzle, he's genuinely saying he wants the puzzle to just be counting to 24.
No, he wants the puzzle to be something different, so it's you two working together. He doesn't want the puzzle to literally be Luigi fucks off and does his own thing, and you just have to go over there, you know what I mean?
How is it even a puzzle?
I thought the point was to beat Luigi to the next level. That's the point of the puzzle. But again, in Mario games of old, or Mario Luigi games of old, a lot of the puzzles were you guys working together to like solve a puzzle. In this one, Luigi literally automatically runs to the next one, even if you don't want him to. So it completely goes against the idea of what the series generally tends to do. Even in Brothership, they have sequences where like you're working together. Again, Luigi stands by a panel to hammer it, and you as Mario end up like jumping over. That's more in line with how Mario and Luigi does puzzles. I can see someone going, I don't like this style of puzzle. I would disagree because I think these are fun, but I could see that. Why don't you see that, dumbass? The game is literally called Brothership, literally. And there's an entire archetype puzzle where Luigi's like, la 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 la. Yeah, I can see someone getting annoyed.
Or a challenge.
I'm watching this for the first time. You had 10 months, broski. You got no excuse.
To just go to the number panels in the order they tell you. Literally all of the fun and challenge from this puzzle is how Luigi, quote, works against you, but he's not working against you. He's going to his panels in his order, and you have to get to your panels before he skips over your number.
Yeah.
It's fun and challenging.
It is fun and challenging.
Need to be on your toes and focus.
But
you
I
have
can
to
see someone
identify
going, this
the
is
next
bullshit.
number Mario needs to get to, and try to get there quickly enough to press it before Luigi gets to his next number. Maybe if the reviewer had a better connection with Luigi, he would be better at this. But
what the f... Guys, I'm abusing my laugh track on the soundboard. Maybe if you were better connected with Luigi. No, the whole point is you're disconnected from Luigi. Jesus, yeah, this guy, yeah, you know what? It's just, I think this is the part where the like to dislike ratio is justified. I think now I've reached the point where I'm like, yeah, this is fair. This is fair now. You've decided to like completely misconstrue this guy's point, and then you smugly declare, I like Luigi better than you. Yes, I'm such a Luigi guy, and you're not. Oh, good lord. What is happening?
I feel like he's actively working against Luigi rather than the other way around. And I mean this sincerely. Instead of thinking he works against you, the point of these segments is to figure out how to work alongside Luigi.
He's a dumbass that runs, and you have to chase him like a baby.
Make sure you don't work against each other.
Yeah, again, just to clarify, I like the puzzles. I like the number puzzle. I like beating Luigi like to the next one. I think those puzzles are fun. 100% I can understand someone going, yeah, these were dog shit. These were like completely antithetical to the theme of Mario and Luigi or just the game as a whole. Like, yeah, that's a fair analysis. I still think they're fun though.
Brothership's main new mechanics is called Luigi logic. But it's essentially just a lengthy animation where Luigi has an epiphany that I had to sit through a double-digit number of times across the campaign. Generally, it results in Luigi just telling you how to progress, often by using bros moves like turning into a UFO or rolling into a ball. Or worse, he just does it for you. Brothership feels stuck between adhering to the old style and trying something new, and it fails at both by landing uncomfortably in the middle.
For me, again, like, Luigi's just fun. I don't know, I thought the Luigi logic was just kind of fun, you know? It was just kind of fun. Like, is it again, a bit more automation, I suppose? I don't know, it's just kind of fun seeing Luigi go, and they go, oh shit, I figured it out. And I'm like, what did you come up with? It was more so Luigi, like, finding some dumbass logic to solve a problem. That was the fun of it. Like, yeah, technically, if we're being technical, Luigi is kind of solving the puzzle for you. And I could see someone seeing that and going, that's boring though. Like, oh no, the fun is seeing what dumbassery Luigi comes up with and working together with him, you know? So I would say, again, this is chat, let's say it with me, gamers. We're gonna agree to disagree, because that's what grown adults do. I read Logan's thesis, like, analysis of the work. I'm like, I came to a different conclusion. Wow. It's almost as if I didn't need 10 whole fucking months to figure out that I can agree to disagree. Now, if this review was genuinely terrible, I could understand that. It'd still be a bit weird going after him 10 months later, but I could understand it. A lot of this review is just, I just don't agree with Logan's assessment, which is fine. I'm sure he'd literally look me in the eye and go, yeah, that's fine. I just didn't really like the game that much. I'm like, oh, cool. So you played Shovel Knight Dig? That's literally what I don't know what to say.
There were moments where I wasn't entertained during the game, like some of those moments that the review mentions where there's an awkward silence. But personally, I think that ultimately a few seconds taken out of a 50-hour experience is a pretty good trade-off.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, no, he's going to do that. Well, actually, since this takes up 0.01% of the runtime, you can't complain about it. It's like, you can? He can? What? I'm just wondering, would he say the same thing about me when I complained that the loading times in and out of battle are long? Yeah, oh, he'd be like, oh, it's only 7 seconds. I'd be like, yeah, in a whole playthrough, that shit adds up. What are we doing here? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man.
And I'm not even trying to be mean here when I say this, but if this is
statement said moments before disaster, gamers.
But if this is the way you think about a video game, then I don't really understand why you would have this as your career.
Oh, what about that? Send him off! Send the drifting edge off! Get him off the field! That was diabolical!
All because he didn't like a game?
That's just typical of what it is!
Get him walking! Holy shit! All because he didn't like a game you liked? Are you serious, man? He just... That's insane. That on Logan, on behalf of him, I want to apologize. What unbelievably disrespectful statement to say, because a guy just disagreed with you. Again, if this review was like revolting, fair. This is the epitome of agree to disagree, and you're saying the man shouldn't have a career for it. Genuinely diabolical. Like, what are we doing? You got lost in the sauce, man. I don't even know what... I'm genuinely shocked. It somehow gets worse? This worse than that? Yeah. All right, Reese, all right.
Because this is what video games do. They take up time, but they use that time to try to engage you.
Yeah, because I love it when it takes 7 seconds to get in and out of battle. Yeah, I love that shit, don't I? This... Look at Mr. Miyamoto over here, explaining the concept of a video game. Oh, yeah, oh, small leagues that way, little bro. Jesus Christ.
It's a gamble whether or not you will be engaged, but something like an animation...
No, it shouldn't be a gamble. When someone makes a game, I expect that game to be good all of the time. I don't expect any downtime. Hang on, what is this? Hang on, can I hit the whole thing in? What is this line of argumentation? Hang on.
Because this is what video games do. They take up time, but they use that time to try to engage you. It's a gamble whether or not you will be engaged, but something like an animation taking too long genuinely affecting a review score? That doesn't really make any sense.
It makes perfect sense! hang on, I just want to clarify. Oh, bro, when I play a game, I expect that game to be good, like all of the time. If it's bad, yeah, I can weigh up the good and the bad. But I don't play a game and go, oh, I'm going to gamble on this. Normally, I've read a review, I've normally seen some gameplay, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this. And then I go and play it. Guys, IGN is winning. I just want to clarify for anyone just joining us. IGN is winning right now. Fuck my life. You see, we all love gambling, so he must be right.
I understand that all art is subjective, and subjectivity has to be a part of this, but at a certain point you are just nitpicking. It is not an inherent flaw for an animation to play.
No, if it plays too long and too often, yes. Which I can see someone saying that about Luigi. Yeah, wrap it up, man.
If the Luigi logic animation played every single time there was something Luigi could interact with, then maybe I would agree with this. Every single time there was something Luigi could interact with, then maybe I would agree with this. I would say, yeah, I really don't like that. This takes too much time to do. It would be a lot more fun if I could just do this instantly. However, the Luigi logic cutscenes are only done to introduce new mechanics and only appear a relatively small amount of times throughout the entire game. Otherwise, it's just Luigi is glowing and then you press the button. No control is ever taken away from you. Like, I had to sit through this a double-digit number of times throughout the game. Like, okay, he may make it sound like that number is 90, but it's probably closer to, like, 30.
Yeah, and maybe he just didn't like it. Maybe he would have just preferred it if they just did the thing. They put the fries in a bag instead of playing the animation every time. I thought the Luigi logic animation was charming, personally, and I really liked it. But I think if someone said it played too often and it got really annoying after a while, I think that's fair. I think it's a bit unfair, but I think it's valid. You know? Broski, move on, broski.
Animation takes like 8 seconds. Or
it shows up like 5 times on one of that. Does it? Okay, that's a little.
Boss fights, it takes around 3 seconds. I was gonna count them up in my recorded footage to make a point about how minuscule it is, but I realized that's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Well, I was gonna do the thing that proves my point, but I didn't want to. 10 months, yeah? Amazing.
So I decided that, unlike the Luigi logic animation, this actually would be a complete waste of time.
No, you could have counted up the collective runtime and like said, okay, it doesn't take that long, or you could have counted up. Someone said like they did it 5 times on one island. If it does, that's a bit much. If you ask me, that's a bit much. So maybe you could have counted how many times does it happen on average? How often do you have to deal with it? No, the main reason why I didn't is because it would have gone against his point. Crazy. I'm not going to do the one thing that would prove my point because it would take too long. Yeah, good review, buddy.
In my first 8 hours of gameplay, the animation happened 10 times, 2 of which were the 3-second version. Most of these were also in the span of 1 hour, because it plays when introducing a new mechanic, so naturally it's going to play more frequently early on and more sparsely as the game goes on. So more accurately, you're probably going to see the Luigi logic animation around 1 to 2 times every 4 hours. That's 0.1% worth of time wasted! Think of what you could have done with those 16 seconds every 4.
Yeah, think about what you could have done with that 7-second load time between battles. Again, this logic fails when you apply it to anything else. Do you know the thing I don't like about this? The opera logic, the Zeb logic, so to speak, is just flawed. Because then what if I complain about the fact that it takes me 7 to 10 seconds to get in a battle and 7 to 10 seconds to get out? Does that make sense? Would you be like, oh, that's 7 to 10 seconds, wasted? Or would you say that's justified? But then if my one's justified, what makes his one not? Do you see, like, the moment you deconstruct this logic, there's no consistency behind it. Because if you're going to complain that his complaint about the time is a nitpick, what about my complaint? Is that also a nitpick? What about if you complain about it? So you're saying you can never complain about anything time-related again? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? It's just not... Like, the logic doesn't logic.
After an entire year of continuous gameplay, that would add up to 9 hours of Luigi logic cutscenes. 9 hours a year. Think about that. A good
Again, you're not really serving your point.
Comparison to this would be opening treasure in a Zelda game. In the traditional 3D Zelda games...
Yeah, if anything, this is actually a really good comparison, because at first you're like, oh, what's it going to be? Actually, actually, this is a perfect comparison. How often did it happen where you're like, oh, what am I going to get? Oh, what am I going to get? It's a fucking key. Oh, it's a small key I can use to put in for a dungeon. I don't give a shit about a small key. I'd rather if you just went, yeah, cheers, mate. Or like, oh, it's the map. It's the dungeon map. Oh, like this animation gets tiring too. Do you know what I mean? If you ask me personally.
When you open a big treasure chest, a 5 to 8 second animation plays, depending on the game. This animation adds a lot of character and personality to the game. It's building up to something big.
Like if this, like, you've used the perfect example, because I know when I played Ocarina of Time, I got tired of this fucking fuck-ass animation. It was more of a surprise when it turned out to be something useful than when it was actually just, oh, it's 10 fucking rupees. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, only opens, is it going to be a dungeon map? Or, yeah, wow, is it a dungeon map or a compass? Yeah, like, if this animation played when you got an upgrade, that would have been sick. That would have been a nice build-up. I'd be like, yes, I got a hook shot. Yes, I got the bow. Let's fucking go. You know what I mean?
I kind of don't understand how you can review video games for a living and not understand this. Video games are not only about gameplay.
Hey! Hey! Have a fucking word with him then, Red!
Can we have a word? Hey, Reese, can you have a word? Should someone have a word with him? Someone said it in the chat. Literally, they're called video games. More often, one of the starring elements of this art form over all the others is that it's this interactivity. And when you take that away from someone, on principle, it's annoying. There can be, there's moments where it's justified, obviously, and there's moments where it's not. Like, for example, in like when like those Naughty Dog games where like they slow down the gameplay to make your character forced to walk essentially as some dialogue happens. Yeah, I would say that's a fair instance where like you're slowing down the gameplay so dialogue could happen. Otherwise, it would have just been a cutscene. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're slowing down the gameplay so that you can have like an in-game cutscene instead of like cutting to like another thing. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. If a game is gonna waste my time with a little like fuck off little, oh, we're gonna go to, oh, is it gonna be dun 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 dun? It's my fucking sanity. Like, what are we doing? All of this because some guy 10 months ago didn't like a video game you liked. Just remember, guys.
Most video games, even if the focus is the gameplay, are not only about gameplay. I've seen some people say that the sign of a great game is if you can take away all the story, all the music, all the visuals, and it's still fun to play. And yeah, that could demonstrate that the game has a really solid foundation. I would still enjoy playing Super Mario Bros. Without its music, and if all the game assets were just differently colored rectangles, that's true. What that argument fails to mention, though, is that I would enjoy it significantly less. I have fun with it.
But like, again, the fundamentals is, it's the video game. Like, you're interacting with the media. Like, of course, the music, the art, that... Yeah, can we just wrap it up, bro?
Gameplay,
next point. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Seeing all the weird creatures Mario has to fight.
Let's keep...
Simply, games are made for people, not robots. The priority...
Wait, what does that mean? Hang on. What does that mean? What is the implication you are making? Hang on.
To put it simply, games are made for people, not robots. The priority doesn't always need to be efficiency. If something takes more time, but makes an experience more fulfilling, then it's usually best kept where it is.
Okay, but what if something takes more time, and shocker, it's not fulfilling? Then maybe a guy, I don't know, maybe a guy called Logan can say that in his review. Shocking behavior, right? Yeah, is he calling him a bot? Yeah, he's calling him a fucking glassy-eyed automaton because he didn't like a fucking, like a 15-second long cutscene. Just remember, guys, he's calling him a fucking robot because he didn't like the Luigi logic animation. Yeah, wrap it up, Twin. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Other also fails to mention that Brothership is a sequel to a series game that did what it did better than it. So there's precedent set to what we expect out of it. Yeah. And to me, at least from my reading of the review, Logan seems to be someone who's played the games in the series before, based on how he writes and how he talks about the previous games in the series. So if you're going to pull he's never played anything before, I believe he has. I don't know. You're going to G-check him? Are you going to be like, how many Mario Luigi games have you played? I think he's played the other games, personally. Interesting.
It's why meals have flavor, even though we don't need it.
Broski, just fucking move the hell on. The worst kind of point is when someone keeps harping on a point and they're comically, like, wrong. That's the worst point. Fuck my life, but just move
Because
on.
art isn't something to just consume and dispose of. It's something to experience. Imagine in
Oh, okay, Suzanne, fucking
a
put
Zelda
the
game, instead
Get
of the
outta
normal treasure
here.
chest animation, you walk by the treasure chest and it's automatically opened and you receive the item inside. You have a little icon in the corner that says it's been added to your inventory. On a replay of the game,
All right, Miyamoto, let's
this sounds
fucking
great. I
go.
already know what it does. I want to use it as soon as possible so I can progress. But imagine this is your first playthrough and think of these two scenarios. Scenario 1, you open the treasure chest and you get this animation.
Okay, I'm skipping the fuck ahead. I'm skipping ahead until I see Baroque Monsieur again.
There's some classic feeling puzzles where the brothers actually work together, but they're generally very simple, boring setups revolving around basic objectives like
Oops.
carry this here and hit that button. It goes back to basics and it never moves beyond that.
He's straight up lying here. The puzzles get progressively more complex throughout the game. More segments where you need to change who's carrying an object, throwing it between each brother when needed. Multi-room puzzles where you need to bring objects from one room to solve a puzzle in another. The central gimmick of the amusement park where you use Luigi from a distance to change the layout of the maze. Also those number puzzles, they absolutely get more complex. Also, most of the game's puzzles involve Mario and Luigi working together, usually in tandem. I think the reviewer more so meant he wanted more puzzles where you separate the brothers and swap control between them.
Brothership feels stuck between adhering to the old style and trying something new. It fails to at both by leading someone comfortably in the middle. There are some classic feeling puzzles where the brothers actually work together, but they're generally very simple, boring setups revolving around basic things like carry this here or hit that button. It goes back to basics and no moves beyond that. I don't think at any point of this sentence, unless I'm like literally can't read English, that he implies this. Hang on.
He wanted more puzzles where you separate the brothers and swap control between them.
I don't think that's what you meant here in this segment. Personally, I think you just wanted the puzzles to escalate. Which again, you could disprove this. I think you did a decent job, but you could you could have gone through most of the puzzles. Again, you spent 10 months on this, broski. I expect 10 months worth of effort. You could have gone through as many of the puzzles as possible and found the ones that were of this kind of ilk and separate them from these kinds of ones to the other kinds of ones and seeing like how right was he really. That would have been more interesting. Let's say, for example, there's like 100 puzzles in this game total and 20 of them are this and the other 80 are that. Then he's like, okay, that's like he's over exaggerating. Does that make sense? But if it turns out there's maybe 80 of this and like 20 of the other, then obviously like he's telling the truth then, isn't he? That could have been more interesting, but he opted not to.
The thing is, the game is filled with puzzles like that, but like I said earlier, they're just streamlined now. Because Luigi logic doesn't have to waste your time with swapping Luigi out, losing control of Mario, positioning Luigi where you want him to be, and then starting the actual puzzle. Instead, Luigi automatically goes to where you need him, so you can just focus on the actual puzzle rather than the setup.
Okay. Maybe some people prefer the setup to be a bit more interactive as opposed to just like pressing a button. I could see someone doing that. Yeah, it's more streamlined, but maybe someone prefers that over the other? Is that so crazy to think? Oh.
The smartest new wrinkle in Brothership's combat are battle plugs, equipable modifiers that impact Mario and Luigi's power, defense, and more. Comparable to if Paper Mario let you swap out which badges you were wearing at the start of each turn. Want to attack a whole group of enemies at once? Equip the Kaboom Attack Battle Plug to deal minor damage to every enemy adjacent to your main target. Or if you want to deal some extra damage to one target, the Surprise Iron Ball Battle Plug lets you drop a spiked iron ball on the enemy you attacked. To make things even better, some bonuses chain together. If you have both of those battle plugs equipped at the same time, you'll drop an iron ball on every enemy impacted by the shockwave of damage. Many battle plugs work together in smart, surprising ways.
They do,
and
I
it's one
like
of the
it.
only areas of Brothership that doesn't spell everything out to you and allows you to piece together these powerful
True,
combinations
I
using
like
your
it.
own logic.
Personally, it's true. I really love the mechanic. So, hang on.
My main annoyance with battle plugs, however, is that they each have a limited number of uses before they need to recharge, and the only consistent way to kick off the recharge process is to exhaust them to zero.
I think that's probably, I'm glad he mentioned that because that was probably my issue with it. My issue is like, say for example, there's a battle plug combination I really liked. Let's say like the fire and ice plugs. I have to go into like, say for example, they're both on one charge and then I'm going into a boss fight. There was an instance where I had to go into another battle, exhaust them, let the turns run so I could earn both again. There wasn't an instance where I could manually set it to recharge. To like charge it when I'm actually ready for a pro battle. I had to let it drain out before it recharges. So yeah, I think that's a very valid thing to complain about.
It can lead to awkward scenarios where you only have 2 or 3 uses on a battle plug left and no way to spend it before going into a major battle.
Fair.
It's as if you needed to let your iPhone completely die before you could plug it in,
Yep.
and it feels a little clunky.
Yeah, it does.
Still, This mechanic makes the battles themselves some of the best in the series.
Actually,
and it's a shame you have to sit through the rest of Brothership.
This is literally my exact review of the plugs, but in the IGN man voice. What do you have against this? I'm curious.
Play them.
Okay,
It's literally the best thing the series have ever made. I'm being honest. Like, the battle plugs are amazing.
I don't know if you guys know this, but phones are devices specifically designed for convenience.
Oh, for fucks. Oh my fucking lord. This guy is look up obtuse in the dictionary. Are we like the color of the blue? And they actually mean the blue. Are we that level of like understanding here? I thought like maybe we could like understand that's an analogy he's going for.
So of course you can charge them whenever. Battle plugs are a mechanic in a video game to add strategy to the game.
Yes, and it's annoying that I can't use my own strategy to manually take out a plug to have it charge, and I have to wait to use them all. Yes.
The way they lose and gain charges is a deliberate choice made to challenge the player to use different plugs constantly and make sure that you can't always use the specific plug you want in a given.
Yes, you're right. But how about they had a system where you could take out a plug to manually start charging it, but you don't get any cooldown back. So say, for example, a plug has 20 uses and it takes 10 turns to recharge. If I use it 10 times, if I use it, like, it doesn't matter how often I use it, when I set it to recharge, it has to use the 10 times. That would have been a fair way to balance it. I think that would have been a very fair way to balance it, right? I can set it to manually recharge whenever I want, but I don't get any of the cooldown refunded. That way, you have the agency of being able to set the cooldowns when you want, but you still have to wait the timer, and as a result, to use more plugs. I think that would have been perfect. That would have been a perfect system because it gives you, the player, more interactivity. Ooh, crazy, right? Because yeah, I had instances where I went into a battle, used some plugs to manually, like, to force them to end so I could start the charging process. I didn't want to have to do that. It would have been nice if I could just press a button and start the cooldown immediately. What are we doing here, broski? He was correct. As long as they're objectively correct. He's correct.
If you want a plug to be fully charged for a future battle, then when that plug is charged, don't use it in battles leading up to that.
Okay, or why don't I just have it so that I could... I don't understand. I don't understand.
If you're in a battle where you want to use a specific battle...
10 months just to tell this guy he's an idiot for using a perfect analogy. What you're suggesting is like far, far, far worse. I would say, and I think everyone here is going to agree with me, one of the worst aspects of RPGs is when you get an item that you're too afraid to use to wait for the perfect time. But the perfect time never occurs. So it ends up sitting in your bag and not being used. So having a system that discourages you from being free-flowing, when the whole point of it is to be free-flowing, I think is antithetical to the point of the plug system. I don't want to have to go, well, I want to try this plug again to maybe mix up with this other plug, but I want to keep it so that I can... I don't ever want to think that. And I'm glad the plug system didn't make me think that way. I just felt like using it and using it and using it and using it. So to have a way to like make that use more convenient would have been amazing. I don't understand. I don't understand.
If you could charge plugs between every battle, there would be no challenge.
That's not what he's asking. That's not what he's asking.
If that were the case, you could just always use the same plugs, and most of these plugs are made to last for longer than one regular battle. You're missing the entire point of this system.
No, he just said it's a minor annoyance. He didn't say he fucking hated it. He said it's a minor annoyance, and I agree, it's a minor annoyance. It didn't bother me when I played the game that much, but yeah, there was an instance or two where I went into a fight with like another enemy and just drained the plug so that I could start the charge process so I could be ready for the boss. I don't want to have to do that. I just want to press a button and charging starts.
Battle plugs make it so your actions in one battle directly affect your future battles. You have to be smart and strategic with how you use battle plugs. I just think it's really funny that he opens this review saying the game feels solely made for children, and then when the game actually does something challenging, he fails to even realize it's an intentional challenge to the
Yes, I love the challenge of being my time being wasted. I love the challenge of being fucking inconvenienced. What a challenge. Hey, how about I punch you in the arm and make it go dead? Wow, what an inconvenience. No, it's part of the gameplay. It's part of the gameplay, bro.
Player. He thinks it's a flaw in the game's design.
Like, like you have to be smart to be... Well, you see, it takes a high amount of intelligence to be a Rick and Morty fan. It takes a high amount of intelligence.
It really irks me because it's like saying, why can't I just have full BP? I want to use special moves.
No, nope, that's a straw man. We call in the business we call that a straw. You as a Rick and Morty fan should know that. Okay, in the business we call that a straw man. Okay, no, it's not very good. Hoarding is the worst thing you can do in RPGs because it essentially disincentivizes me from using anything. Yeah, exactly. Anything that disincentivizes me from using a thing in an RPG is annoying. You know, so I want to dissuade myself from doing that as much as possible. And having a system where I could start the cooldown manually instead of having to go into the battle and it's just dumb.
I say this with no sarcasm at all, but
Holy, is he about to drop another generational stinker, chat? Is he about to drop another generational howler?
I really would like to see this reviewer talk about the rest of the series. I'd like to see how he critiques the rest of the series in comparison to this game. I'm also wondering if he played the rest of the series more recently, or if he's just looking back to when he played them when they were new and going
He's trying to G-check him. Holy shit. I don't think he played the rest of the series. She didn't agree with him. Brother's trying to G-check him over video games. He's like, bro, listen. Listen, let me see your license, bro. This guy's walking down the street. We said it as a joke, but it was true. Literally, he's trying to G-check this, bro. He sees him walking down the street. He's like, hey, where you from? Hey, where you from, bro? Where you from? I ain't seen you around these ends, bro. You from here? You from here? He's doing that with the fucking Mario equivalent. Holy shit. It's like, yeah, bro, you know my cousin. I used to run these streets, bro. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, brother, just turn around, man. You're going to get shanked.
I'm not saying he is doing that. I'm just saying that if he is, that's a very poor way to review a sequel. If you're comparing games this much, it's important to have fresh, unbiased views of both games. I actually tried to research him to see if he's said anything else about the rest of the series, but all I found was this podcast where he said he played Partners in Time as a kid and never equipped new armor or fought enemies, so he got to the final boss and then didn't beat it for 15 years.
Mario and Luigi.
So you're going to take a guy sharing like a pretty wholesome story about him being an idiot when he was a kid, and you're going to use the holy, I don't know what to say.
Oh my God.
Broski, yeah, delete the video. I just want to be clear, chat. I say that as a joke. Every single time I've ever said that in the past, it's a joke. Unironically, I think you need to delete the video. This is one of the most embarrassing disaster classes I've ever seen. You've managed to take something which was I would say, harsh and in points wrong, but overall, a relatively fair review of Brothership that maybe gave it a lower score than you'd like. And you're like literally digging into this guy's past for like no fucking reason. It doesn't even pertain to the points you're making. You made a unsubstantial amount of horrible claims, and like you've strawman this guy. You've made like really weird accusations about this guy. Like I don't even know who this Logan guy is, but like I want to be his friend now. I want to be his friend. You know what, Logan? Hey, Logan, when I make a podcast, you're invited, Logan, okay? You're invited. Me and you are going to be best friends forever, okay? We're going to be best friends forever, okay? Jesus, what are we doing here? Literally, all you had to do was say IGN bad and move on. Holy fucking shit, man. You're going to weaponize something, a nice story he told. Imagine, for example, right? I did a review of PLZA, and somebody, when they were like critiquing my review, said, oh, Moresty on a stream said that when he was 8 years old, his Blazerkin used to know only attacking moves because he believed status moves were fucking useless. And we're like, oh yeah, you see, he's always sucked at the series. And I'm like, I was 8 years old. Having a moveset of Fire Blast, Frame for a Fire Punch, Overheat was like the coolest thing on planet Earth. Now that's dumbassery now, but I was a kid. What are we doing here, man?
Partners in Time. It was the first game I ever got
Fire
on the
moveset,
DS,
thank you.
just running through areas, avoiding all the enemies, and I have been stuck on the final boss for 14 years. A couple months ago, I finally went back, and I am wearing the base armor from the start of the game.
Leaving you, Logan.
Which is a fun...
Like literally everyone on the podcast was like, yeah, that's a fun story. Like they laughed. They were like, that's a fun story. They were in the podcast, they were probably just sharing cool stories. And you decide to Jesus Christ. Yeah, isn't that impressive? He made it to the end of the game with the base armor. No joy, no whimsy.
Story. I'm sure we all have something like that. But yeah, I couldn't find anything else on his Twitter or anything about the rest of the series. In preparation for...
Okay, but like, okay, hang on. I just want to clarify. He did, hang on. Just that, is it?
Leaving you, Logan.
Which is a fun story. I'm sure we all have something like that. But yeah, I couldn't find anything else on his Twitter or anything.
But like, I do think it's a bit weird that you would use this in the context of a review where you've been very clearly bad faith. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, you admit that this was like a harmless story, but like, I just think it's weird that you would try to like bring up someone's like a wholesome story in this context and in this fucking video. Well, yeah, why even bring it up? I just think it's a bit weird.
Playing it with a critical eye and playing Brothership right after, I can say that even though there are things I like in Superstar Saga I like more than Brothership, like its music, enemy variety, art style, character designs, I really do feel like Brothership is an objectively better game.
Oh, broski. Wrap it up, twin. Honestly, wrap it up. Wrap it up. That's not a joke. Wrap it up. Now, listen, I want to be clear. I am no stranger to using objectively to like blow V8. Do you know what I mean? I am no stranger to that. If I'm making a review of, if I'm making a takedown, I wouldn't even go as far as to say a hit piece. I think it's a hit piece. I mean, I'm going to make a hit piece video about someone's subjective review. You're probably steering clear of the word objective. You know? You probably would just want to avoid bringing up these words.
This isn't really a review of Brothership, so I'm not going to go into detail about that, maybe in a future video. But I bring it up just because I think it's necessary to have a clear perspective of what you're comparing something to, instead of just looking at the past with rose-tinted glasses.
Even then, saying that Superstar Saga is an objectively worse game than Brothership is a crazy claim. Even just invoking that claim in a video requires a whole load of pretense for you to add. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why would you even bring this up? It just makes you. Yeah, this is just.
And even though the combat is
more
the best part of
more
Brothership,
IGN
it
guy
still wears thin before the end of the adventure. Without going into spoilery specifics, the final third of the campaign is a complete slog that adds nothing of substance beyond.
I agree. I would say the start. I think I said at the beginning, the start of the game and the end of the game were really annoying to me. I feel like it went, because the whole conceit, without spoiling it, yeah, the end of the game is like, you're supposed to like go back to all the people you've seen, and then, oh yeah, the friends. Yeah, for me, I was just like, yeah, it's just sort of, yeah, just come on now, what are we doing here? I'll be honest, if that part of the game was near the middle or beginning, I probably would have just like, gave up. I would say a good chunk of what was pushing me through the end game was knowing I was close to the end. Because like, once you get to that fetch questy final bit, you realize you're in the end game, you know? Would you call that part of the game friend slop? I think I would. Except I wouldn't, because I'm not that tone deaf. But yeah, as a joke, I would call it friend slop, yes.
With a much more positive impression as a whole if it ended at the 25-hour mark.
Same.
Because even the combat started to feel tired and repetitive as I was going through the motions trying to reach the conclusion.
I wouldn't say that. I don't think I got bored of a single bit of combat throughout the game.
Calling the story generic is such an oversimplification that it kind of makes me question this reviewer's intelligence and literacy.
Oh, what about that? Send him off! Send the drifting edge off!
What are we doing here? Actually, this is... What are we... You know you can say you disagree with someone without being a cunt about it, right? Like, people in my chat were literally saying, I thought the end of the game was really good. And guess what I said? I said, yeah, fair, I just don't really like it that much. Imagine if I went up to someone and went, yeah, guess what? Your fucking review fucking sucks. I bet you can even fucking read, bro. Every single time he does this, I'm just shocked for words. If you're gonna fucking critique this guy's review, keep it within the bounds of the review. Why are you punching below the belt? It only undermines your credibility or everything you want to say. And I have a very strict rule about this in my live chat. I'm someone who like watches a lot of videos and like makes fun, banters, gives critique, feedback, etc. There's a reason I have very strict rules about brigading or like making fun of like the person at hand. If I see one person make fun of like the way the person looks, then in this case you are saying Mario a bit weirdly, so I'll let that slide. But like I would say generally when it comes to like accents and stuff, I'm usually very quick to ban people for that, because I don't want anyone in my chat making fun of someone for things that are like a bit more outside of their control. I want to stay within the focus of the video at hand. I think there's a very important thing to do, and it's something that I think anybody talking in good faith should be able to do. The fact that you keep questioning this guy's intelligence is genuinely baffling to me, and it speaks to some level of insecurity that I'm not sure you've had to wrestle with before, because the only reason you would insult this guy's intelligence is because you're jealous that he gets to write about video games for a living, what I would say is probably a dream job, and you're just some Joe Schmo working in some dumbass factory or something. And remember, this is all about video games as well. This guy's hardly the next coming of Hitler, and like, what are we doing here? Like, did you ever stop and pause for thought and realize, hang on, maybe I'm insulting this guy a bit too much? I just don't understand. Like, this video would be like, yeah, like this video still wouldn't be good, but it would be so. In fact, I'm gonna say the word. I'm gonna say the word, chat. This video would be objectively better if you kept the insults out of it. And I'm using the word objective correctly, because there is literally zero to be gained by insulting this man's intelligence or his credibility or his like video game nous. There's literally, you gain nothing and you lose everything by doing this. In the same way that if I was to insult you right now, outside of the things you've said in this video, I would lose, like, I would only stand to lose and nothing to gain, which is why I never do that. I'm only calling you a fucking idiot because of dumbass things you said in this dumbass video. Do you know what I mean? And that's fair game because you said some dumbass things in there, broski. Fucking, I don't even know what to say. That's why I never vibe with any looks comments. I ban them. I literally ban people that do that. I don't vibe with it neither. I don't vibe with it at all. And the fact that this guy's like multiple instances questioned Logan's intelligence for like no reason is genuinely shocking to me.
Calling the story generic is such an oversimplification.
And then of course, and then it's what, over him calling the story generic? Which if we're being literal, the story is kind of generic. It's literally the power of friendship and the magic of a connection. I used to watch that shit when I watched Little Bear Stories, bro. I used to watch that shit in Bear in the Big Blue House, bro. I've been seeing this theme since I was a kid. So yeah, relatively speaking, I would say it's generic. I like the way they went about in Brothership, but yeah, you're hardly twisting heads when you say your stories about the power of friendship and the magic of connection. We've been literally seeing stories like this since I was like 5 years old. all of that game is, remember, he questions intelligence because he dared to call a generic story generic.
Boiling it down to simply friendship is important is good if I ask for a 3-word synopsis on the story. But at that point, you can make any story sound generic and boring if you boil it down to just its main moral or message it's trying to get across.
I think you're being reductive. I think the IVG... Why do I keep saying IVGN? I got AVGN on the brain because I was watching that before stream. I think what the IGN is trying to say is that, yeah, like, relatively speaking, the story takes its theme and doesn't really go anywhere. That's what he's saying. I would say I disagree, but that's what he's obviously saying. Like, yeah, could the reviewer maybe make it a bit more clear what he means when he says generic? Yes, I think he could make it more clear. But if you're asking me, the inference is pretty obvious in that he's referring to the general themes of the game and how they didn't, like, enamor him.
Like, Breaking Bad sucks. It's just drugs are bad. We all already know that. We're not children. See, didn't I just sound like a fucking idiot? Mario and Luigi Brothership.
But the worst part is that's not even the point of Breaking Bad. The point isn't even drugs are bad. The point is don't let hubris rule you. That's the ultimate point. Because yeah, Walter White had it all, but his hubris ruined him. So you didn't even get the point of Breaking Bad correctly. Holy shit. In fact, it's barely about the drugs. So even your analogy didn't even make sense. Holy shit, what a car crash of a video. You obviously didn't watch Breaking Bad if you think it's a drug, if you think the theme is drugs are bad. It barely has anything to do with it. Like, obviously it does, because obviously Heisenberg's a drug lord, but like the overall themes of everything that makes it interesting, the meth is blue sky meth. Spoilers, I guess. But that's like one of the least interesting things about the show. It's about like seeing the character of Walter White become Heisenberg, and then Jesse Pinkman, and how it affects his family. And then there's Tuco, and then there's...
story may be specifically about friendship being important, but it also dives into that. It shows the dangers of isolating yourself from the rest of the world, and it shows that even if you think it's okay to completely close yourself off, you might not realize the damage you're doing.
So yeah, Sesame Street plot. So yeah, obviously, again, but what he means when he says generic is that he didn't think the execution went anywhere. Because yeah, I would say connections are great, friendship is magic, is a generic theme, but I think stories can go about in interesting ways to grip you. Personally, I found the way that Brothership went about to be very interesting. And obviously the reviewer did not. That's obviously what he means, but like you're kind of inferring some nonsense, but whatever, man. So spoiler territory.
The specific choice to make Cosette be Zocket at first seems like a strange twist villain angle, and I'll admit my immediate reaction to it wasn't thinking it was the most ingenious writing choice. But as I sit with it, I realize that it's actually very effective at showing that this kind of thing could happen to anyone. Because
for me, I didn't really think the twist was that good, if you ask me. Like, it was okay, but like I wasn't really like... I think it was like obvious, like 30% of the way in, okay, like that's Cosette. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think the twist like didn't work for me personally. It's like, okay, yeah, it's obviously going to be her. It's obviously going to be her.
Cosette specifically is the one that
it's like a twist villain. It's like barely a twist, if you ask me.
Ani how important connections are, how important bonds are to everyone. And I think it's really powerful that they specifically didn't say Cosette was forced to do these things. They were saying she was vulnerable to Reclusa and was able to be manipulated into feeling this way.
She's been controlled, wasn't she? The thing is, everyone has a weakness somewhere in their hearts. Cosette's no exception. Could be someone took
Obviously,
advantage
it's
of
more
that.
complicated than that in this fantasy setting, and she probably did act out of her own will, but I think it's a really effective way of saying that anyone, regardless of morals, can be sent down a dark path. In our weakest moments, that's often when we feel the most desperate and often make rash decisions that can hurt the people around us. Honestly, I think this is the best story of the Mario & Luigi series. It's not as action-packed, it doesn't have a ton of moving parts like Partners
The best story? Maybe.
in Time or Bowser's Inside Story, but instead it's something deeply personal. The name of the game is Brothership, and when you first see that, it feels a little clunky, like, oh haha, they're brothers on a ship. But you come to realize as you play it that the central theme of the game is how close Mario and Luigi are. They're inseparable and they absolutely love each other, and their love for one another is what ends up saving the day. Look at how absolutely devastated Mario is to be separated
Even if that is the theme, and I would agree with you a bit, I would say that I don't think they do enough of that in the game. Like, I would say they talk about like connections and all that, and they go around connecting the islands, but like, and yeah, obviously, like when Mario and Luigi are disconnected in the cutscenes, they obviously like, you know, he looks devastated. He looks so devastated. I would love to have seen more of that in gameplay as opposed to just cutscenes, if that makes sense.
from Luigi at the start of the game. The whole series always had them work together. It's called Mario and Luigi, but this is the first time where it really made it clear just how important their bond is. And I don't think it's a bad thing, nor do I think it's juvenile, to make a story about the importance of connections between people. Super Paper Mario is often revered as one of the greatest stories in a Mario game, and its central message is about love. It's a love story, and its whole thing is like, love conquers all. And it's not seen as juvenile. People usually say it's one of the darkest Mario games.
Well, yeah, because like I think it depends on. Yeah. I don't really remember Super Paper's story off the top of my head. It's how far he was willing to go for the power of love. That was like the part that made that so intriguing. But also, like, where is this in relation to the IGN thing? Like, we're talking about the game, but like.
This, to me, signifies the return of Mario games being weird and creepy again. Something like the World of Nothing from Super Paper Mario, or when you actually get sent to hell in Super Paper Mario, or Mimi in Super Paper... A lot of shit from Super Paper Mario. There's a lot of creepy shit in Super Paper Mario, and I like it. There's also some cool creepy stuff in Partners in Time, but regardless of that, during the final act of the game, the true main villain, Reclusa, uses these plants that grab people by the head and indulge them in this fantasy world where they see all their loved ones and live their ideal, unchanging lives. This completely isolates them from the rest of the world, and Reclusa plans to use these so that eventually the world's population completely dies out.
Everyone will be cluelessly alone. See, this is the bit you should have got Cyber Shell for, bro. What are we doing here? Are we literally just talking about the end game? How does this like relate to? I'm gonna keep it running a little bit longer.
This is the kind of thing I thought Mario games weren't even allowed to do anymore. I just think it's kind of silly to experience that entire sequence and come out of it thinking, this game has no depth and is for children. And I'm not saying like it's inappropriate for children, I'm just saying that even as an adult, it's a very compelling and interesting part of the story that had me on the edge of my seat. I also thought the cinematography was really impressive for this whole sequence. If shot...
I thought it was good. I mean, I think maybe you're playing up a little. I thought this was good and it was interesting. I didn't expect, like, I think it was quite interesting how they made Mario and Luigi also get, like, sucked up by one of those things. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say it was, like, the yeah, it's definitely giving a bit of SpongeBob. a little bit. Because, like, yeah, that was interesting, but, like, yeah, it's pretty good for Mario and Luigi. I'd say it's good. Definitely. I think it's maybe, like...
And when you do save them, you have to leave them behind in order to get home. And that really got to me. I actually cried during the ending. The complaint that the third act of the game...
Cried? It was good, but like...
...is too long or unnecessary is also just wrong. It's not even a matter of opinion.
Hang on, sorry. Are we back to dipshit being a dipshit again? Hey, game is a scope.
The complaint that the third act of the game is too long or unnecessary is also just wrong.
No, it's not. It absolutely is. It could have been shorter. They could have trimmed out some of the fat. Like 100%. This should be, even people that like Brothership, me, would say that the end game was a bit, yeah, it was padded horribly. The beginning and the end, like again, this is why I literally say like shave off a bit at the beginning, shave off a tad in the end, and I think you have a very good game. Because I think the middle bit of the game, and of course, add a fuck ton more boss battles. Literally, shave off a bit at the beginning, shave off a bit at the end, add like 7 more boss battles, and the game is like a 10 out of 10. It's probably the best game in the series, which is why I think this is a good first step, and then ideally the next game they can perfect it. If there is
It's not
one,
even a matter of opinion.
No, it is.
The final act shows you just how dire things have become. The world you spent the whole game bringing together and trying to help is worse off than ever.
Ironic that you said it's not even an opinion when you're refuting an opinion. I do think there's a bit of irony in that. I don't think should be forgotten about, you know?
People you've helped form new connections.
I'd argue that the end game was good, but the build up towards the latter half was kind of, yeah, I think that's what it was. I think it was just filled with a bit of padding. The latter half of the end game, yeah, definitely.
And if nothing is done, the entire population will die. At this point in the game, I couldn't bring myself to stop playing. If you actually connected with this story and these characters, you wouldn't be saying the game is taking too long. All of these parts are necessary to tell a full and complete story.
It
the
probably could have been
reviewer only
paced better.
thinks the game is poorly paced because by the end of the second act, he was praying for it to be over.
No, just to clarify, I like Mario and Luigi Brothership. I think it's a really fun game. I would say I would give it, and bearing in mind, I use all 10 points of the scale. I don't just use 5 as like, 5 is good, 5 is like average. I would say Brothership is like a 7.5 that's closer to an 8 than a 7.5. That's what I would say. I would say, because it has a lot of good in it. The battles are amazing, there's just not enough of them. I'd give it like a strong 7.5. Definitely. And that means I like the game. I would recommend the game. It's just, yes, it has problems. Okay, spoilers are over. Spoilers are over, gamers. Spoilers are over, you can come back.
If you don't want to feel like your time's being wasted, then I don't think you should be playing video games that often.
No, I don't want to feel like my time is being wasted by a video game that sucks and is paced poorly. I don't think Brothership sucks, but I do think the end game was paced poorly.
If playing video games becomes an internal test of whether or not it's a waste of your time, then you're not allowing the game to take you on the ride that it's trying to give you.
Okay, but what if I let it take me on the ride and I still think it sucks? What about that? Do you think that's a reality that exists? If you say yes, then this whole point is null and void. Why did you even put this in the video?
It's like writing a book or any other kind of story. If you just describe the basic actions that happen, that's boring. You need world elements and people to make the world feel lived in, to make it feel...
Even Shakespeare didn't fucking yap this hard. Holy shit, man. Even, what? Okay, we get it. You need elements and stories and game design and artistry and mechanics and... Fuck, Molly, you explain this 45 minutes into your video, yeah?
Feel real enough to suspend your disbelief and make it interesting. A video game is an experience. It isn't solely gameplay. That's why we have stories and world building and animations and funny things to look at.
Yes.
Just because you don't find a certain thing entertaining doesn't mean it doesn't have value being there.
But this is his opinion, though. So if he doesn't find any value in that, then of course he should say... What are we doing here right now? If Review Man says, I didn't find value in this thing, what's wrong with that? That's his review. And also, is that even something he said? I don't even know if that's something he said, or if you're just fucking mad because you're bad.
These kinds of things are entirely subjective. These are the points of the game where it's completely your own opinion. I think subjectivity and objectivity both have a role in a game's review. But if you give a game such a low score just based on, I didn't like these animations, I didn't find this story entertaining, you have to step back and see the value others might have there.
No, you should. You absolutely... Holy... Welcome back, Nintendo Land. Welcome back. Can I hear that one more time, please? Hang on.
Give a game such a low score just based on, I didn't like these animations, I didn't find this story entertaining, you have to step back and see the value others might have there.
Okay, so I wasn't glitching. I wasn't lagging. No. If Logan thinks that Brothership is a 5 out of 10 video game, I do not... And he goes, yeah, but Logan, what about the other people that liked it? I'm expecting Logan to look at me and go, it's a 5 out of 10 video game. If it was like, yeah, you're right, I'm going to bump up to a 7. Which one sounds more correct to you? I would rather Logan said, this is a 5 out of 10 video game, and that is my review. Yes. What are we talking about? It's Logan's review. And IGN, as a publication, have trusted Logan to be the reviewer. So Logan is going to give his review on behalf of IGN. What are we doing here? Yeah, also 5 out of 10 isn't even bad. It's just like average. He's telling people to see the value of what other people think, and then yet he's not doing it himself. Yeah, interesting, ain't it? Interesting. Dude, I hate it here. Why do videos like this always have to be, oh, it's just an opinion realization right at the end after they're missing the point of the rest of the video? Yeah, I don't know. Moonghost, you gotta help these people. Moonghost, you gotta help these people. These people are cooked, all right?
Think about other perspectives. See if what you're complaining about really is an objective flaw of design, or if it's something that just didn't resonate with you personally. Because the point—
Okay, so you're mad because he didn't say in my opinion enough. You're mad. That's literally what I'm getting at here. You're mad because he didn't say in my opinion enough. If you're going to IGN for a review, I think the implication is extremely apparent that you are. I don't even. So hang on. I just want to give an educational lesson to anyone. When you go to IGN, the website, and click on a review, there's a little text here that says who it's by. That should give you that should give you an indication of who it's by and whose opinion you're getting. And then also they conveniently, I saw it. They conveniently also put it at the end. And also, you get a picture of the guy, so you can see what it looks like. Oh, he looks alright. He looks like a guy. Logan Plant is one of the hosts of the Nintendo Voice Chat. Oh, he hosts a thing. IGN's database manager and playlist editor. Legend of Zelda is his favorite video game franchise of all time, and he's patiently waiting the days that Nintendo announced a brand new F-Zero. Ooh. You can also find him on Blue Sky, Logan J. Plant. I wonder what you're up to, broski. What else he's been writing? Kirby Air Ride is more like Super Smash Brothers than you think. Little Nightmare is the final preview. Awesomely leans into co-op. The biggest games at PAX West. Silksong is out now. He's doing his thing. Good job, Logan. Keep it up, brother. When people see a score for a game below 7, they automatically think the person's bad. Yeah, it's just people in the UK don't know this, but like in the UK, like okay, now they do numbers. Now they do a number system. When I was in school, it was letter grades, right? C was the average. C is a passing grade. In America, though, like and in order to get like a C, I think it was like 40%. I think 50 was a bit like that's how it used to work when I was a kid, right? But like in America, like I think 40% is literally an F, if I'm not mistaken. It's like you're used to like 4 being a fail because an F is a fail, if that makes sense, right? In America, I think it's what C is like a 7. Yeah, like a 70. A C is like a 70. So you used to see 70. Literally, you guys have it. So like 70 or 7 out of 10 instead of 70 out of 100 is the average. So it's literally because of your American school grading system that people think 7 is the average. Literally because of you Americans. It's all because of you Americans. In the UK, like that's never how it works. I did like maths papers where like I got like 45, 50 out of 100, and I got a C grade. That was a passing grade. Like it worked in batches like that. Like getting an A was like up there, you know what I mean? Like it's just you guys. You guys fucked it up for the rest of us.
The point of a review like this is to let the masses see an objective view of the game's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, through the eyes of the reviewer. Okay, but like if you're going to IGN, like again, if the overall point you're trying to make is that somebody who writes for a review site, it probably behooves them to be a bit more objective instead of subjective because they are writing on behalf of a big conglomerate that is the face of the industry. That could be a very interesting talking point. And if you could have spent, I think somebody could probably talk about that for like an hour. That could be a very interesting talking point to like talk about. You could use reviews as like case studies. You could get like this could be a really fascinating topic. It's a topic that you are completely incapable of having because you're a fucking moron if this video is anything to go by. Good fucking grief. Because I think the point he's trying to touch on could be interesting, right? If Logan Plant works for IGN, one of I would say the biggest games review site in the world. Does it behoove Logan to be a bit more objective with his claims when he's writing a review for such a big site, so people have like to serve the biggest common denominator in a sense? That could be interesting. Or should it be because Logan Plant has been employed by IGN? IGN's review is essentially Logan Plant's, so it should be just like his review essentially. It should be entirely Logan Plant's review. Should there be like a mix in the middle? Do you know what I mean? Like that could be interesting. Does the scale of the review site, should that affect the objectivity to subjectivity ratio? Like, what are we doing? Like, that could be quite interesting conversation. I bet we can lean into that sort of thing. Not something we're going to get here, obviously, because of course we're not, because we can't have nice things.
So they can make an informed decision. And because of that, I don't think subjectivity should be this much of a decider in the final score.
All you've demonstrated is that you disagree with this guy, and that's it. And you're a piss baby about it. That's all you've done. I think 5 was too low of a score for the fair analysis Logan gave. With that said, reaching the ridiculous conclusion like Opera has is a different kind of bet. I think that's fair. I think considering what Logan said, maybe a 6 would have been a bit fairer. But like, again, you're having an entirely different conversation to this guy. This guy has just demonstrated that he's butthurt because Logan dared to give this game a 5. I guarantee if Logan said the exact same thing but gave the game a 7, he wouldn't have an issue with this.
The two viewpoints this reviewer has are that the game is too childish and easy, and that the game is too complex and it's wasting his time. And
that is a very bad faith summation of his review, but sure.
Obviously, those completely contradict each other.
Yeah, because you've bad faith summarized his review. That's obviously not what he did. And if he did, you would show me to prove. You'd use the power of editing to show me that part of his review. But you haven't because you're lying.
Every time he talks about it being too complicated or wasting his time, he's venting his frustration that he has a deadline to hit, and those particular things are the roadblocks that got in his way of completing the game.
Could you maybe show... oh, hang on. Gamers, hang on. Holy shit. This would be the perfect instance to go into Logan Plant's history and see if this is a pattern that he's exhibited over the course of his career. If it has, tell me. I would like to know. Now, granted, I don't go to IGN for reviews because I'm not 12 years old. But if Logan Plant was somebody I trusted with a review of mine, and I figured out like he had a pattern of behavior where a game taking too long meant that he reviewed it low, I would want to know that. I would want to know that, yes. But that's obviously not what you're going to get at because we can't have nice things, can we? You literally just said earlier that summarizing things in a simple way like that makes you sound like a dumbass, but when you do it, it's okay. Hey, do you want to tell him that? Like, my favorite game ever got a 5 and has some bad and good points. That's fine, but apparently some people don't get that 5 isn't a bad score, and it makes me so fucking angry. Yeah, it's the Americans, I'm telling you. Americans grew up to believe that 70 out of 100 or 7 out of 10 is the average. So anything less is stupid.
The depth he wants out of this game is the very thing that's preventing him from enjoying it. Every time there's
No, the depth he wants from the game was offered in previous installments that he didn't get here. Which is obvious that Logan Paul. It's obvious that Logan Plant has played the other games in the series, and you're just upset that you don't agree with him.
an actual challenge, the reviewer is too focused on completing the game due to his deadline to have anything but frustration towards the more complicated parts of the game.
It's just projection. Musty, no!
But that's more of a structural issue. Game reviewers are given very strict deadlines to give their reviews on time. And as we can see in this review, that can have a detrimental effect on the way they view the games that they should probably love.
Firstly, holy projection. Secondly, again, is this a pattern of behavior that you could prove that Logan does? If you can, amazing. Please show me that. But no, this is an inaccurate conclusion that you've drawn because you are jealous of this man's absolute Chad status. Guys, look at him. Look at my guy. Look at him. Brother's a fucking playlist editor. He's on Blue Sky. He's the host of a whole ass thing. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy. And you're just a nobody, broski. Look at that smile. That's a smile. That is a smile that you could show your picture to your mama and you'd be like, you know what? He looks like a good guy. He looks like a good guy. Who are you, bro? Who the hell are you?
You might say that this video came out too late after the fact.
I would say so, yes.
Therefore irrelevant. It no longer matters. But I think it's another point in my favor that I actually had time to think and reflect here before putting my thoughts out there.
You think and reflect and made the most garbage video I've seen this year. Well done. Well done, Opera Zeb. If we did the Musty Awards at the end of this year, I think you're a shoo-in for worst video of the year.
Instead of ending on that salient point, I'm gonna end this
salient. All right. Got that talking thesaurus, huh?
Video by listening to one more quote from the review and giving my thoughts on it.
Having the Mario Bros. Sail a giant island ship hybrid to uncover and explore new islands is a great idea on paper, but in practice, navigation boils down to a pretty unspectacular ocean map where you pick the next destination you want to sail to and wait as you inch your way there, and the results are utterly meaningless. I never felt any sense of discovery remotely approaching that of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, or even of the small open ocean segment of Paper Mario: The Origami King. I instead felt like a kid in the backseat on a road trip, just wondering if we were there yet.
Okay, that's your own damn fault. They never said it was gonna be like Wind Waker. You're just getting mad that the game isn't what you made up in your head.
Hang on, give me a sec. Having the Mario sailing the giant ship hybrid to uncover and explore new islands is a great idea on paper, but in practice, navigation boils down to a pretty spectacular ocean map where you pick the next destination where you want to sail and wait as you inch your way there. The results are ultimately meaningless. I quite like the gameplay loop of you set course and then you can explore other islands where you wait. I thought that gameplay loop was very, very fun. But I can understand why compared to like Wind Waker, yeah, I can see how it's not as interesting, but I quite like the gameplay loop personally. Even the small open segments of the Paper Mario, the Origami King. I instead felt like a kid in the backseat of a road trip, just wondering if you were there yet. Yeah, I think that's more of a case of, I think what he could have done here, yeah, I think this is a weak part of his review. I think what he could have clarified is that obviously the gameplay loop is you sail to a location, then you do side quests, and then like it says, oh, you're there, and then you can go back and do that. Requiring you to wait in general, even if you can fill up the time with other cars, just feels like it's not ideal design. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this is something that Logan could have gone into more detail of. I think this is definitely a weakness in his review. 100%. I agree with this. Now, how does Opera Zeb characterize his points?
That's your own damn fault. They never said it was gonna be like Wind Waker. You're just getting mad that the game isn't what you made up in your head.
Just to clarify, chat, you see how I gave Logan Plant constructive criticism and this guy's just being a cunt? You see like the drastic difference in delivery between me saying you could have clarified that the gameplay loop revolves around that, and instead you didn't. I think that's something that you should add in your review. You should have added in your review. But instead, this guy's just going to be like a total cunt for no reason. Yeah, well done, Opera. 10 months, yeah.
Silly. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching my video.
You should be thanking me.
I've spent like 9 months working on this.
You could have had a kid. You literally could have had a kid, broski.
Glad it's finally out. First off, want to give a big thank you to Levi and Charles for helping.
I'm sorry, Levi and Charles, for he credited you in this disaster class.
Me with proofreading the script and finalizing it. Big thanks to Charles for helping edit
Charles,
all the audio.
I'm so sorry you wasted your time, Charles.
Very big thanks to Cybershell for narrating the IGN review.
I am at least mildly upset that you got the goat Cybershell involved. Now next time I rewatch one of his bonus videos, the thought in the back of my mind is going to be that you sullied his reputation. And that upsets me. That upsets me very much, Opera Zeb. I cry every night because of that.
I'd also like to extend thanks to Logan Plant for writing the review, because otherwise this video would not exist.
Logan Plant, you should never have written that review. You should never have written that. If it meant this disaster class never existed, you should never have written the review.
And if anyone from IGN happens to be listening to this, even though I didn't like your review, I really liked your article on the DK artist mode in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Especially this first guy. You should feature this guy more. He's got some bold new ideas.
He's a pretty cool bananas.
Is it because you maybe agree with him? Is that why?
You could support me through Patreon.
Oh, there it is, gamers. There it is. There it is, gamers. There it is. That's just typical what it is. In the same way that I have this belief that I cannot prove, but I'm convinced of, that every person with an anime profile picture is a cunt. Every person with a Patreon is also the most worst video essayists you've ever seen in your life. And I think he's once again proving my point, okay? He's once again proving my crackpot theory that all Patreon Percies are bad at their job. So well done for that, broski. I'm gonna instead do my Bravo 6 segment before I leave my closing thoughts. Gamers, it's returned. Somehow, gamers, bingo returned. Lying, where someone just lies. Simple there. Lying in 4K. I stopped watching after, which I think we're probably gonna find a bit of in this one. Random parting shot at Pokemon. It's gonna be a tough find, but maybe. Creator gets owned. We're probably gonna see a bunch of that. Short comment. Hot takes is cold take. Rude comment. Am I the only one who? Wall of text, which I'm gonna clarify as 15 lines without a line break, is a wall of text. Who cares comment, which just makes me visibly go or audibly go, who cares? Grand mistake. Comment glazing creator. Finally, someone said it. Rage bait. Emoji spam. Default Dan a comment. Musty alt account, which is basically just someone saying my take but in their voice. Racism, which is like basically like not literal racism, but like, you know how when people go like, I don't want those fucking Nintendo cats in my Mario Kart game. It's like, what the hell? What the hell? Nintendo racism? Like that sort of thing. Needless political mention, you know, and with the situation that's been happening recently, maybe you might see that. Little Timmy comment, someone who's obviously a child, or someone who's obviously an uncle. Goomba fallacy. Sarcastic comment meant as an insult, and cringe comment. Least insecure Mario for any heart. Oh, the Cope Heart gamers. The Cope Heart. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I think that's a... Is that a sarcastic comment? Least insecure Mario fan? I don't know. I'll leave that there. Short comment though. We got short comment. Unfortunately, we don't have Cope Heart today. So we can check that one off. You know, you could have made a video why I don't bother shit, but not attack a game critic in like 50 minutes. Yeah, it's just a musty yacht account. Basically what I've been saying. I think I literally said that word for word in my review, so I'm comfortable checking that off already. Final statement. If you're against a game wasting your time, you shouldn't be playing video games. It's bordering on psychotic. True. Hang on. Are you in the way? Get out of here, chat. You're in the fucking way. Games you won't like being considered a waste of time. Games you like won't be considered a waste of time. Also, subjectivity should not be the focus of a review. That's what a review is, a subjective opinion. Do you think Anthony Fantano communes with the cosmos and divines objective review scores on the albums he reviews? Does your enjoyment of a game that you clearly love so much amount to nothing more than a mathematical equation of objective or universal good qualities versus bad ones? I hope not. If so, you need to reevaluate how you connect with art. Fix your soul. From a default Dan, guys. Guys, all of that from a default Dan. From Silent Bob. Yeah. Default Dan's claim a W today. And here comes Reese, which is probably why he wanted me to watch this in the first place. I guess at least this proves that he watched the video. All that effort that could have went into this video could have gone into a proper review. Someone who also strongly disagrees with the IGN review. This rebuttal was just so unnecessary, and there's so many bad faith arguments. True. An IGN review was nearly a year ago, and most people moved on and forgot about it. No one cares at this point. Also, even if you didn't intend to, this can come across as you attacking the review, which is not a good look. If you really hated the IVG, what is wrong with me? My brain is broken today. If you really hated the IGN review to make a 50-minute long video about it, you could have easily vented that frustration into something more productive. Reese, the best to ever do it. I mean, he's all right. He's not the best to ever do it. He's okay. Reese is okay. He's okay. He's all right. He's all right. He's cool. Oh my god, an 18-year-old on you. It's a crossover episode. It's a crossover episode. Holy shit. Cook 'em. The ghosts of Musty Past have come to haunt this man. An 18-year-old on YouTube Luigi. Like, all reviews I don't agree with. I crack a joke at the viewer's expense, usually nothing harmful, and I move on with my day. This is quite obsessive. Honestly, the tag team. The tag team is diabolical. Oh, he clearly intended it. He plastered his name everywhere, including the description, and tried to tag him in tweets about it. Oh, is that true? I'm very much not doing that. Why would I want him to be harassed? I think digging up a review... I said digging up. I think talking about a review that's 10 months old, about a topic where a man... I would say, didn't Logan Plant get, like, a lot of, like, stick for this? I wouldn't be shocked if he got, like, death threats. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know. I personally don't know if he did or not. But like, I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. Because like, this IGN review blew up. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. So knowing that, is this really the kind of review you wanted to litigate? Calling the man unintelligent is not the same as asking people to harass him. Maybe you shouldn't call people unintelligent. I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't call people unintelligent for like no reason. Like when I call you a moron, I've watched 50 minutes of you being a moron. I'm comfortable calling you a moron. You called a man unintelligent because he disagreed with you. I'm calling you a moron because you're being moronic. That's the difference. Fucking hell, bruv. At best, this was an honest mistake where he got petty and didn't think about the consequence. At worst, it was a fully petty and did not care for anyone's well-being. I think it's a fair assessment of the video end. I tagged him on Twitter one time. I've been leaving him alone. Why would you even tag the guy? I've been leaving it. So when I say why would you even tag the guy, my issue is, if you intended for this to open a dialogue, why don't you just fucking email him? I never said that. I never said that it was. What? I list all the specific types of harassment. A 50-minute video, personally attacking a guy's review on a Nintendo game for children from a full year ago is harassment. You tagged him in there, including tweets that were so bad, you had to delete them. But I finally stopped after my victim spoke out against me. You know, it doesn't make you look better, right? Also, this video is still up. Oh, that's good. Fucking, oh. But I finally stopped after my victim finally spoke out against me. Jesus Christ. That is a diabolical line. That is ouch. Mayro has done a quick fact check. And it has been confirmed, gamers. Fact check, true.
Hey, I'm a fucking word within that red!
He did try and tag him. Deliberately tried to tag him to like, he wanted, like, hey, I want you to see my review. A bit diabolical. You shouldn't even have tagged him a single time. This dude finally got death threats over the review. Yeah, again, I would have assumed so. Making this kind of video requires a level of maturity you do not possess. Posting about how he blocked you on Twitter as if some kind of win is oh! I don't know if we can find a tweet where he did that. Actually, hang on. Can I quickly take a look? I think he literally just deleted everything. He literally went full on DFE. Delete fucking everything, honestly. Thinking getting blocked is a win. Yeah, literally like full like 2010 ass mindset over here. Let's have a look. I cannot believe this grown man was so butthurt about a single person's review on a children's story. He's willingly spent 9 months obsessing over a rebuttal, which turned out to be utter dog shit. Like, seriously, man, at least make this video good if you're going to be a psycho about it. You know, I'd agree. No, I didn't tag. I tagged him one time. He's like, no, I didn't. No, I tagged him another. No. We have proof. You tagged the guy, man. He's gonna say that he didn't know about death threats because he was mad about this review and he worked on the video for 9 months. So we all know that's a damn lie. Personally, I don't know if he didn't know about this. Again, I didn't know his family receives death threats. Upon learning, I apologized and left him alone. Again, I don't know how you obsess over a guy for 9 months without figuring this out. I think, for me, I just assume that anybody who was in, like, a controversy for, like, and drew the internet's ire, is, like, getting death threats. That's what I assume. That's my assumption, anyway. Holy shit, you're really doubling down, huh? Deleting your tweets doesn't erase the memory. You tagged him several times and then mentioned him again here after he blocked you. Also, called it. No one's going to believe that after spending 9 months on a video that's review, after being that obsessed with it, that you didn't already know about the backlash and death threats. This guy is, like, on his ass. This guy is like, oh, man. This guy is like the fucking opera killer. This guy exists for one reason, it's to kill this guy. Jesus Christ. T, my name is T. Oh, Captain, my captain. Fucking. He's bought so many stocks for the default dance. It's unbelievable. I can't have a hot take about any Nintendo game. Else a 30-year-old man-child would dedicate half his year to making a hit piece on you. Is he wrong, gamers? Is he wrong? This video at best is incredibly unkind and at worst, a targeted attack on someone who just had a different opinion than you. And all the effort to farm the hate machine that targets the mainstream gaming journalist. You're clearly a passionate creator. Do better. He got hit with the do better. Fucking hell, man. I'm actually glad he called the review out. IGN spammed the review 7 times. Same review 5 times in a short period trying to bait a reaction out of us. Well, fuck that. I bought the game. I had fun to start again. Oh, send it. Default Dans lose again. Again, I just want to clarify, chat. I'm 100% convinced anybody who ever says this line, I'm never trusting AVGN, IGN ever again. You never read IGN. You're lying. You're just lying. You're lying. The people who post that review on social media, the person who wrote the review on completely different teams who didn't interact. That does not justify this. Oh, so are critiques not critiquable? If you find something dishonest about someone's review, I think it's fair to point it out. Not finish the review, but so far in the beginning, it seems like it's not calling out too many personal preferences, but misrepresentations of double standards the reviewer had. No, this guy was a complete cunt. This guy was a complete cunt to Logan for no reason. This is a disaster, an absolute masterclass of how to be a cunt to someone. Like just to clarify, this video would be bad if it didn't constantly attack Logan, but him constantly attacking Logan made this video go from bad to atrocious. I remember the review and the score didn't seem to match up with the critiques. Also, it was also so dramatically different from everyone else's, so I feel it's okay to have a closer look at. You're glad a reviewer is getting harassed because the social media team at IGN cross-posted this a little too much an entire year ago. What? Are you a child? Are you a child? Are you a child? Is it really a thing that you think matters? Oh, cook him, gamers. Captain T is absolutely murdering. He owns this comment section. Just give the channel to him. Oh, but just give the channel to him, bro. Can we get WTs in the chat? Jesus Christ. The default Dan Go. Oh my God, Big T. I agree that if you find something dishonest in a critique, you can point it out. I don't think that an entire 50-minute video should be made about that. Another thing is that IGN. IGN normally takes them seriously, apart from this guy, and for some reason, this isn't under the mayor or something. Yeah, exactly. Like this is true. Like no one gives a shit about IGN. Who, like honestly, when was the last time a grown ass, like normal gaming adult went, "Oh, I saw the IGN review," and that sentence is. That sentence has never been uttered from a normal person's mouth for like the last 10 years minimum. You could have used this time to make a more positive, in-depth review of a game that you like as a rebuttal. Instead, you made a video basically shitting on a guy for having a different opinion to you, and he didn't like his experience. Not even properly criticizing the guy or anything, just calling out his takes shit and calling him names. Not very productive for a 9-month video. You should just let go at this point. Also, you have a talent for this. Using your content format for a positive, in-depth reviews would be best suited to you. Obviously, you have a passion. I just think it's better suited for positivity to convey your thoughts on the games you love. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Margin. You're far more nice than I was. You are far more nice than I would have been, broski. I'm being real with you. I'm being real with you, man. You offered an olive branch where I don't think I personally would have. Maybe call me black-hearted, okay? No chance. No chance. Thank you for saying so. 1 HP voice. Thank you for saying so. I definitely want to make more positive stuff in the future. Listen, Margin, you're a better man than me. Put it that way. You're a better man than me. You know, I'll give you an upvote. Better man than me, that's for damn sure. Man single-handedly gave IGN their first W in a decade. How did you manage that? Fuck my life, man. Kill him. This video has a little something for everyone. Hey, that's a callback. Hey, that's a W callback right there. You know what? Fair. That's fair. 18-year-old getting his dunks in. Hey, he's pretty fly. He's pretty fly for an 18-year-old guy, you know? Donkey Bonanza annoyed me in all the worst ways the game possibly could, and I absolutely love it. If someone were to give it a 5 for those exact reasons that annoyed me, long collection animation 1,000 times, it doesn't really bother me. Frame drops eating my inputs, only really happened in the post-game. Controls while climbing sometimes go the wrong way. Terrible camera. Maps sometimes useless because zooming and transparency issues. Yeah, you know, fair. Incongruent banana tracking, numbered on list, but not all bananas found numbered on map. True. Poor color palette in skill tree. I think the color palette's fine. I don't understand. I disagree, but I wouldn't jump out the bushes 9 months later. True. Imagine jumping out the bushes 9 months later, like, ha, fuck you, Logan. I like the scout sooner, but it was a lot of work. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't even look like a lot of work. I'll be real with you. It doesn't even look like this video took a lot of work. All your video was you showed segment of his article, you refuted it. You showed segment of his article and you refuted it. Now, granted, I'm like, if I was to work on it now, granted, obviously, I have like my editors that help me get videos out in a quick pace. I feel like if I was to do this archetype of video, I could get out in like what, 2 weeks? And that's me being generous, by the way. If I was like, if my whole conceit of my video was article, I need to read. Oh, so now I need to read the article, find the points I disagree with, write down the points I disagree with. Find some, like, take some notes, maybe do some research, and then obviously voiceover, edit, do you know what I mean? I think I could probably get that in 2 weeks. Now, granted, obviously, this guy probably has a full-time job, so maybe, like, again, biggest case scenario, a month. Like, let's say you got a full-time job and you can only, like, maybe work on this, like, 2 hours a day. Maybe I'm giving you a month, at most. Now, obviously, he said that he read this review after he beat the game, but then I'm just like, either what happened was, there's one of two realities. You beat the game within like the first month, and then you read the review, then you could have probably started the review, your counter review, probably would have taken you like 2 months to come out, right? Or, let's say another reality, where you beat the game 8 months after this review, and then it took you like a month to get, do you see what I mean? Like, either reality is just like, doesn't make sense. Either you beat the game relatively shortly after launch, in which case you could have got this video out like 2-3 months after launch at most, or you beat this game relatively recently, in which case you should have just let it go. Either reality doesn't like work. And of course, we're getting Mayro is doing some research. Our underground Mayro researcher is confirming that he also tagged him on Blue Sky.
What about that? Send him off! Send the drifting edge off! Get him off the field! That was diabolical!
That's just typical what it is, gamers. Fuck my life. On multiple platforms. Yeah? You wanted Logan to take time out of his day to watch you shit on this man constantly? There's a reason I don't tag people in my like reactions where I'm mean to them. Or a bit more like mean, should I say. A bit more chicane. I don't tag people. I link back to them because I'm crediting the creator for their work. I don't tag them. I don't want them seeing my work. Because like it'll probably make them the day suck. I don't know. It's fun for me, but imagine not for you if I... the smiley. Crazy. Also, you keep saying like it matters. It doesn't. It shouldn't have been made at all, but you definitely shouldn't have abandoned it when you realized it took so long to make. Guys, can we get guys? WTs. You know what to type in the chat, gamers. You know what to do. You know what to do, games. You know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. At this point, you had 9 months to say never mind, but instead you said to keep it, all because someone disagreed, not just about the game, but how you judge art. I love the story and brothership, and I wish it was told better. True. I enjoyed the game and thought it insulted my intelligence at times more than I'd like. I enjoyed the battle plugs, and I thought the implementation could be tweaked. A real-time clock while out of battle, or even emergency half charge would help. Yes, I said the same thing. But instead of thinking critically and deciding not to, tell others there's a right way to consume art. Yeah, you just have to tell someone you're consuming art wrong. Yeah, crazy. All the comments are cooking. This guy's cooked, gamers. This guy's actually like done. He's done, gamers. And just to clarify, I had clicked off cringe comment for that guy that was running defense for him earlier. Be a grown adult Nintendo fanboy. See IGN review of my favorite Mario game. They give it a mediocre score. Proceed to waste 9 months of your precious short life compiling a 50-minute long video of the reasons your butt hurt for said review. Masterful gambit, sir. Yeah, a bit arrow posting, a bit old hat, a bit 2012 for my liking, but you know, fair enough, Chinky. It's at least a bit nostalgic. Jeez, I genuinely feel bad that you spent so much time working on this video because you were a little upset at a review. This could have made for a great video about how you personally love the game instead of bashing a review. Clearly, you should have spent more time thinking about this. This video was a cry for help. And I hope you get that after wasting so much time. Thank God I only had to waste 50 minutes watching this video. Listen, I got to enjoy it with the privilege of my community, okay? Wasn't politics? Oh, it was. You're right, actually. Hang on. We do have that, actually. Good catch. The fact that this led to a person whose family getting death threats invalidates any actual fair points to be made here. You come across as someone who can't handle having any different opinions. You may have apologized for that in your comment to them, but literally take it down entirely. This is a bitter hit piece. Yeah, real. Good God, Nintendo fans insufferable. To which the creator replies, "Sorry, you don't get any good." Do we have cringe? I don't think we have cringe, do we? I am already crossed off. Oh, we already crossed off. All right, based. Okay. I'm gonna say clearly somebody who's like a child only cares about console wars. So I'm making the judgment call that this is a child gamers. As a Nintendo fan myself, I'm not affiliated with this man. As a Nintendo fan, we don't adopt this man. I don't have an OnlyFans. Oh, I get it. Good God, Nintendo only fans are insufferable. I don't. Don't try to be funny, okay? How would you feel if someone made an hour-long response video, which is an author repeatedly dismissed your opinion as objectively incorrect and used it as a reason to judge the quality of your character? Have a bit of empathy. Yeah. Oh, here comes 18-year-old tagging in. Whelp. It's not whelp, gamers. It's whelp. That's how you know he's white with the extra H. Where? Every where? What? Bobby? What are you doing? Well, this is what the Mario fan base has come to. It's been a few years where some of the products of this franchise haven't been universally adored by its critics. It's led to people being an unbelievable amount of insecurity and copium. This is like how Sonic fans were viewed for a better part of a decade back in the day, and we're falling into the exact same traps. Damn. Insanely disdain-filled video. Say what you will about the review and what you think about the game, but you constantly go on minute-long tirades about vague points in the review and then formulate weird assumptions about the reviewer in question just because he doesn't like a Mario game? How he's apparently bad at games because he thought the plugs were inconvenient to recharge? About how he's illiterate because he thought the story of this 40-hour game was basic and not engaging? People have different opinions on stuff, and yet you cry and you get caught about this objectivity, failing to realize that's hardly applicable when we talk about personal experience with games. Objectivity is not about what color or how old something is. Subjectivity is an expression of our personal opinions about anything. It's what makes people people. So saying professional reviewers have some sort of obligation to be objective when reviewing games is not only asinine, but impossible. We all feel different things about games, and it's insane to say that a reviewer should be objective while talking about a game, about the connections we make over people and what brings us together. If only we spoke objective about topics such as games, there wouldn't be anything to bond over. I'll never get over how many fans talk about how great the story is and they fail to demonstrate they learn anything from it by framing a random IGN reviewer as some pariah who has bad opinions because he thought a Mario game was slow and boring, and then block out all criticism as bad faith. Maybe look at the dude's ranking that he attached in the original review and try to get an idea of what he thinks about these games. Put some effort into put your effort into something more worthwhile and get a grip. Yeah, he's done, mate. He's done. Yeah, he's cooked. Did he actually write anything in the ranking article? It seemed like it's literally just a list of games ranked without any elaboration on missing something. The main point is that the dude has opinions and isn't just some faceless IGN guy they got to review games. He's somebody with experience in the series, and he's constantly framed online as having no idea what he's talking about just because he didn't like this game. Yeah, that's why I wanted to hear him review the rest of the series. I'm interested to hear his perspective. I didn't know people online were framing it that way, but he did make it clear in the review that he was a long-time fan of the series, which is, again, why I wanted to hear more in-depth discussions. Yeah, but like the way you said it, though, came across as like, oh, like, I want to see you talk about the rest of the series. Like, it was less you being inquisitive and more you being a cunt. At least that's how it came across to me. Yeah, I don't know, broski. Wrap it up. There's no way this took 9 months. Well, it wasn't active work. I'm busy with a lot of stuff. If I was able to dedicate all my time to just this, I probably would have taken like 1 month. Wow, crazy. And gamers, our hero, gamers. Our hero has come back. Gamers, come on, you know what to do, gamers. You know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. Let him have it. Let him have his wins. Let him have his win, gamers. WTs. Oh wait, here comes Matthew Smart. Hang on. I'm keeping my close eye on you, motherfucker. You better have been nice. You better have been nice, okay? Imagine spending almost a year of your short life making it an hour-long hit piece where you insult the intelligence of a random internet guy you don't know, all because you didn't power your opinion on a game you like. I genuinely hope you do some soul searching because it's not a healthy way to live. You're good. I got my eye on you though, Matthew, okay? The funniest part is when you genuinely get angry at this having to charge a phone only when it's dead comparison because you took it so seriously. Literally, that's what I said. Like, of course, the guy knows the difference between a phone and a mechanic in the game. It's just making a humorous comparison that helped visualize how annoying the mechanic was. Apparently, I was too complicated for you. Oh, we got Coffee Bean. Coffee Bean is here as well. I just think this video was unnecessarily mean-spirited. There's no reason to say it kind of makes you question the reviews attention. Literally, there's no reason for this line. Just because they didn't find the story at all engaging, and much of what you did was way out of line and disrespectful. Just because someone doesn't like the game you like, doesn't mean they should have a grudge against this. It's just immature and childish, and I think it's entirely fair for Logan to criticize the game for its FPS issues, the Luigi logic cutscenes, which are valid complaints. But simply dismiss this as, I don't have a problem with it, therefore you're wrong. Also, making a video of this after the review's almost a year old, especially when there are countless videos discussing this review, is just beating a dead horse. Let go, man. Yeah, Coffee Bean. Coffee Bean's fine. Can't believe. Listen, I'm gonna. That's rude, okay? That's very rude. He pronounces Mario weird, okay? Leave him alone. Man, I don't usually agree with Logan Plant, but this man is so entertaining, hardworking. He actually plays the games he reviews. He has such a good attitude. He wants to love everything so much, which is a good quality to have. So I truly believe he didn't like it. It's probably not all that good. I didn't watch this video because of what everyone else is saying about him, the general bad vibe it gave, but it was important for me to step in and say something about a great journalist. You know what? I agree. I think Logan... You know what? Finally someone said it. Finally someone said it. Yeah, just delete this, bro. Yeah, just delete. He just hit him with the Musty classic of, yeah, wrap it up, little bro. Wrap it up. Take a drink. Don't take a drink, gamers. You die. Look out for my response in night. The cope heart is unbelievable. The cope hearting is unbelievable. Okay, that's... Okay, that's definitely... Jesus. Gee. Okay, Matthew, if you wrote that, I would have banned you. What did he reply, though? You should have just deleted this comment. Yeah, I was busy. I'm sorry. A number... Yeah, brother, wrap it up. Yeah, brother, you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm crying, I'm literally in tears. I'm literally in fucking tears. Holy shit. Oh, Matt John's here. Hang on. I love brothership, and my problems with the IGN review, but honestly, I found most of the criticism fair. I just didn't agree with most of it. To make a video this almost 1 year old review seems really unnecessary. Questioning intelligence just makes this weirdly mean-spirited. Your analysis of the game was spot on, but everything about the review was unneeded at best and distasteful at worst. This video really brought everyone together. We've got Reese in there, we've got 18 on YouTube, Luigi there, Matt John in there, fucking Coffee Bean in there, Matthew in there. Fucking hell, bruv. Delete. He just accepted it. No, but the cup. Oh, no. Broski just deleted it. This is just. Oh, man. Unk, you don't have it, bro. Just leave. Just leave, man. You gotta go. You gotta go. Okay, this is Rage Bait. I'm comfortable clicking off Rage Bait. Rage Bait is fair. Imagine spending numbers trying to defend a shit game. Yeah, that's rage. You're trolling. This guy's trolling. And he even just says like, oh, because it's a bad game. Go ahead and delete this. Oh man, I fear to disagree with Mario Luigi fans for a hit piece is coming out on me as well. Oh man, oh jeez, guys, I don't want to disagree with the Mario Luigi fans. Oh man, I thought Aaron Hansen did the exact same thing when he personally attacked an IGN review of having different opinions on a game, and one of the Game Grumps side was score streams, and yet still his fans and people defended him. Yeah, gamers, I can confirm this is the definition of a who cares comment. This has nothing to do with Game Grumps. I don't give a shit about Game Grumps right now. So gamers, we have won. Bingo, baby, we've won. We won with a straight vertical line on the right. On top of a disaster class of a video, we also got bingo, which doesn't happen that often. I think we've lost more games at bingo than we've won. So we actually won. That's amazing. That makes this reaction even better. We won at gambling. Oh my lord, let's go. Let's fucking go, gamers. And then Matthew coming in here with the $5 super. I don't believe this. Yo, never is all the same as I'm on death threats or a personal tag. I'm honest to a fault, but I know how to handle proper etiquette. Yeah, evidently you know over this guy, huh? Thank you so much, Matthew. I came here to sit after seeing a tweet talking about how bad this review is, and honestly, it isn't nearly as close to how bad people made it out to be. Yeah, it was worse. It was worse. Like, bearing in mind, chat, very rarely do I play up how bad a video is. I'm usually honest with how bad a video is. This was a disaster. The mostly scared is what? Missed the mark. There's less than stellar. Missed the mark. Stinker. Howler. Disaster. Absolute disaster. This is an absolute disaster. This is on the toppest tier, gamers. This is on the toppest tier. This is an absolute disaster. Jesus Christ. Fuck, I don't even know why. One of the worst to ever do it. This and the podcast are like the two worst videos I've covered this year. Genuinely atrocious, honestly. This would be a U in secondary school, literally. Fuck my life, man. You can still have probably like 2 instances where I could see attacking every. There should be any. What? There should not be any instances where you are attacking the. Every single time I called this guy a moron, it was in direct relation to some dumb shit he said, right? I'm not questioning this guy's intelligence in other means, although I wouldn't blame anyone for doing so. I called him a dumbass because what he fucking said. Does that make sense? You are calling this guy a dumbass, a media illiterate, because he dared to have a different opinion than you. I'm calling you a dumbass because your framing of your arguments and your argumentation, your ad hominem attacks are atrocious and you should be ashamed of yourself. There's a difference between what we're doing here. Fucking hell, man. This gets getting me heated now, bro. You're actually gonna... There should be 0 instances. If I'm gonna question someone's review, there should be 0 instances where I'm attacking the reviewer. 0. What are we doing here? But honestly, you went in depth on why the game was designed the way it is and why some cutscenes are lengthy to show a new mechanic because it's supposed to emphasize the importance of it. Yeah, no, just a cope, giga cope. The best argument I can see why this review shouldn't exist is how old the IGN review is. But I see people critique older reviews, so the argument falls flat. Yeah, just wrap it up. Wrap it up, little bro. The reviewer blocked me on Twitter for this. I would like to hear his thoughts on my criticism. Oh, well, yeah, good. Yeah, I'm glad he fucking blocked you. Because this is where we go to the Twitter machine, gamers. This is where we go to the Twitter thing. Gamers, luckily someone archived it for us. There are hundreds of more respectful ways you could have gone about opening a dialogue with if this was your true intention. My family and I got death threats over this review. I'm not exactly going to open up early promote a video or retweet a post that drags Neil all back up after a year later. Especially when you review, yes, I watched the whole thing, has many bad faith arguments and personal attacks. So the guy himself saw your video and said it was dog shit. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Take the video. If this is not the ultimate sign that you need to take this video down, you need to take this video down now. This actually, even the guy you wanted to see his video said it was dog shit. Logan W's, bro. Logan, what a mature, grown-up response from a mature, grown-up man. Because that's what he is. He's a fucking professional. That's why. I'm sorry your family got death threats over it. You, what's it? Oh, hang on. Oh, this would be interesting. I'm sorry you and your family got death threats over your review. That's absolutely terrifying and awful. People who do that need to remember that there are real human beings behind the screens. Yeah, did you remember that when you were insulting his intelligence? Did you remember that? I don't think you did. That said, my intention for this wasn't the video. I wasn't opening a discussion with you. But my intention with tagging you is because I was genuinely interested in what... So you did... Am I the only person that thinks that's extremely strange? My intention of putting this video out wasn't to open a discussion with you. So you what? Then what was the video for then? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you thought about this video. I was wondering if it had any impact on you or your thoughts. Surely a better way of doing that would have been to... I'm sorry. I'm just like, my brain is broken, chat. Because like, let's say for example, right now, I wanted to make a video on Logan Plant's brothership review. One of the first things I'm doing is reaching out to him for comment. Like, am I crazy in thinking that? Surely the best kind of discussion you could have is like talking to the guy, seeing if he'd be willing to talk about it. I'm sorry, my brain is literally in pieces. This comment has broken my brain, chat. Genuinely speaking. So you wanted to, instead of, you know, talking to the guy, DMing the guy, you decided, I'm gonna make a video shitting on him, and then he can watch it. For what? Yeah, if your intention was to see their thoughts, you DM them. I make it clear what my intentions are. My intentions with my videos are to entertain. If the content creator hand sees it and gleams anything from it, then fantastic. But my purpose of what I do is to entertain my own audience. I want to know it. I make it very, very clear that like me opening a dialogue isn't what I'm trying to do. I'm just like watching a video, critiquing, having fun, bantering. Ideally, a point of like critiquing someone's review is to... I'm lost. I'm actually lost for words, chat. Was this an accidental self-report? I'm genuinely like trying to find some sort of way that this guy could have justified. I'm just lost. I'm genuinely just lost. I have nothing to say. For once, chat, I'm speechless. Ending the stream more ill. My throat is fucked, by the way, chat. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. My throat is gonna be cooked. My throat is gonna... I should have taken more medicine. I think I have some in the fridge. If not, then yeah, I'm fucked. I'm gonna have to go to a 24-hour and buy some more cough drops because my throat's gonna wake up fucked in the morning. My intention of tagging was because I genuinely interested in what you thought about the video and wondering if it had impact on you, your thoughts on the game, and how you write reviews going forward. Yeah, it would have been much easier if you fucking spoke to the guy, like in a video call or an email conversation. All that aside, I appreciate you watching the whole video. Sorry if I offend. Genuinely atrocious. Genuinely atrocious. I didn't want to open a discussion with you. I wanted to hear your thoughts. Yeah, insane. My intention on making a video wasn't to spark discussion. My last minute decision in tagging him a tweet was. Sorry if that didn't make sense. Yeah, brother, fuck square off. You might actually be the saddest person I ever did displeasure observing in a while. I'm sorry. So what? So this is even. So it's even worse than chat. It's even worse. So he made the video without zero intent to reach out to this man, and then post hoc was like, "Ooh, I actually want to see what he thinks." That is a horrible response. You apologize for the thing. You apologize for the thing he had to go through, yet you try to justify tagging him in the video while contradicting yourself, even though he gave you a very valid reason for not wanting to be tagged in it. I'm not trying to justify. I was explaining my thought process. I completely understand why you didn't want to be tagged in it, which is why I apologize. Okay, so you're a loser. Got it. Yeah, even in the Twitter replies, everyone's cooking him. Fuck my life, broski. Thanks for the apology. I deleted my original comment to this reply in his response because some people in social media were taking it way out of context and way too far. Despite my significant issues with the content of this video, I never saw it as an attempt to launch a new harassment campaign, as some people were saying. Look, W. Logan as well. W. Logan, holy, what are we? What's gamers? What's going on? What Logan's just like he's an absolute gentleman, an absolute professional to the very end. Honestly, I'm gonna be really honest with you, Logan. I don't think I would have taken this video in the stride that you are. I don't think I would have made a public. I would have just ignored it. But like, what this would have been is if someone made a video about this like me, literally, as you guys have seen, I probably never would have addressed it in public. But like in private, I would have been like, yeah, that guy's a bitch ass motherfucker. You know what I mean? I would never have like, you're a far greater man than me, Logan. I'll put it that way. You're a far more mature man than me. Because I would have just not said anything, obviously. But in private, I would have just fucking like, yeah, fuck that guy. That guy sucks. That guy's the worst, you know? We'll leave it there, gamers. We'll leave it there. So, all in all, having seen all of this, Mr. Oprazeb, considering that the person you made this entire debacle of a video about has forgiven you, I would say for the sake of Logan and for the sake of this dog shit narrative that IGN bad and all this nonsense, I would say it behooves you to take down the video. Either unlist it or private it, or I would delete it. Maybe I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you want if you care about the 4,000 views messing up your analytics, then I suppose you might as well just private it. But I would say taking down this video from public search would be the best action to take. You've managed to take the easiest subject on planet Earth, which is games journalist bad, IGN bad, and you've somehow turned it into the biggest W that anyone has ever gotten on planet Earth. And if the overwhelming negativity in the comments and the overwhelming like to dislike ratio is anything to go by, I don't think you should ever conduct anything of this sort ever again. What you should do is what that margin guy said and conduct your clear passion for making videos into a more positive outlet, because I would say if you even attempt to do anything of this sort again, I would say you should remember the embarrassment that you feel about this video, and it should instantly stop you from ever trying anything like this again. Now, luckily, again, you're someone who's relatively small, and Logan forgave you, so in the grand scheme of things, you're lucky. You're actually a very lucky boy. So I would say taking this down and never doing anything of the sort is your best course correction. And just, broski, lay off the smug, okay? It's not a good look on anyone. Don't be so wholly smug next time. I fucking hate smug cunts, all right? And no one likes them, okay? No one likes it. Everyone likes a bit of humility. So you practice that, or you practice writing better videos, and we'll just leave it there, I guess.